Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. My name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer of gaming, wrestling, any dessert that is not these fuck-ass cookies, and my stinky cats. Tonight, we're gonna be going into semi-uncharted waters.
Mario.
Hi, Teddy. Hello, Ritsu. Hello, Tom Street. Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Who else is up having surgery 5 times in their left knee while I'm up stroking my hog? But I'm also having surgery in my left knee 6 times. 69 times. 7 times. Whoa, hello there, Teddy. Yeah. Teddy's here as well. A bit of a Long Boy Club, I don't want to say regular, but he's a frequent member of the Long Boy Club meetings here. But yeah, tonight we're going to be going into somewhat uncharted waters as we do the heel side of Rey Mysterio's road to WrestleMania in Smackdown vs. Raw 2011. A side of the story that 10-year-old me was never brave enough to go down. Because he couldn't bear the thought of seeing his beloved Rey Mysterio be a bad guy. But you know what? 25-year-old Stev, he's got some hair on his chest, you know? He's got some hair on his chest, on his balls, on his gigantic neck. And I think I'm ready. Can you believe they did the heel Rey angle 2 times in a row? LMFA. Dude, I was thinking the same thing today. Like, I was literally, like, thinking to myself, wait, they did something like this in, like, the next game, too, right? Because, like, the created wrestler storyline in next year's Road to WrestleMania features a heel Rey Mysterio. And yeah, like, Teddy's right. They love turning this man heel for some reason. You know? I mean, I guess it isn't, like, new territory for him. He was a heel for a second in WCW. But, like, ever since 2002, he has been nothing but a white meat babyface the entire run. WCW should have won. Dude, they won for, like, 3 weeks. And then Vince came in and said, that doesn't work for me, pal. And then they had the War Games match at Starrcade, and then that was it. I mean, they had their victory in WWE 12. Yeah, but again, it was like 3 weeks long, and Vince was like, well, you know what? This right here is good shit, but, you know, WCW, it just can't last under my rule, pal. And it didn't. It did not last. War Games with 1 cell in a ring. Yeah, like it was like a Hell in a Cell match, but with War Games rules. If they let you join with them, it would have been a 10 out of 10 story. Genuinely. How many of you, back in the day, when you unlocked Nitro, did you just like go into universe? Did you just go into universe mode and replace Raw with Nitro to keep continuity? Because I did that. I was very committed to my save. 10-year-old Stev, who had basically no knowledge of WCW outside of a couple DVDs, and this game was like, oh, geez, this is so cool. I love the aesthetic of Monday Nitro so much. And then it was ripped away from me. It was gone. Like an angel's kiss. Like a ship in the night. It was gone. Nitro's on Mondays and Jim Ross is my world champion. I love WCW. Well, I just love WCW so much. I like that there, Rey Mysterio, when he does the West Coast pop on Jacob Cass's ass, on Jacob ass. Anyways, I only did that in my 2K 2K14 save, sadly. But we'll get to 2K14 here at some point in the future, but right now, trust this. Trust this. Oh my god, he just fucked him in his ass! Jacob Cass was a great little sneaky way of them putting Austin Aries into the game. Well, if I had my way, I'd take Austin Aries. That hairy son of a bitch. And I'd show him the fucking door to OVW. He'd never set foot on my version of Monday Nitro.
Hello, Mario.
My left knee now hurts for some reason. Hi, Zach. Listen. Your knee might hurt, but my brain hurts. And do you want to know why, chat? You gotta go down to developmental, son. You gotta get some seasoning with, Paul White.
Hello, Mario.
Hi, Soul. How are you? They should do it again and get, like, Jake something as the voice actor. We are chat. We are one. We are chat. We are chat. We will stand together. I mean, the Nexus is in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, but only as DLC. Which, unfortunately, there's no way to get that DLC. You know, legally. Did you see the swerve? Toxic. Did you see the swerve quote from CVV, from Chris Van Fleet about him and Hangman? Toxic, yeah, dude, Hangman and Swerve is the shit that fanfics are made of. You know? Hangman and Swerve, with all their violence and their chains and their blood, I just want to take their action figures and push them together, right? And make very, very loud and risque kissing noises with them. I love them so much. I don't know how... Listen, okay? Before I talk about Swerve and Hangman, I need to talk about something else with you guys, okay? And that is, of course, food-related stuff. Because, of course, it is Thanksgiving. Hopefully everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, however you celebrated it. I do not have a spread of my food from Thanksgiving, but we did have some turkey and prime rib. It was really good. I will say, I have all the DLC on my PS3 completely legally, LMFAO. And I will do the exact same thing so that there can be no issues with my PlayStation 3 or my streams in the future. But no, I did in fact...
Oh, hey. Life.
Thank you very much for the prime, Zach. I appreciate it. Hold on just a second. That's very, very nice of you, dude. Seriously. Here, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to save the image and I'm just gonna fucking post it in here. Hold on. Because I do not have a picture of my spread. GirafaStev universe, where Lex Luger was the face of the company. Dude, we would have been fucking swimming in dough, okay? That right there is gonna be my next goddamn, TEW save. After I get the title off of Rod Killings. But no, I need to, show you this, okay? This right here is the pie spread, okay? It was really good. We had chocolate cream. We got the coconut cream. We got pecan. And then we have peach graham cracker crumble. The crumble one was my favorite of them all. I'm a big fan of chocolate cream pie, right? Like, if you put most of the chocolate in front of me, I do have the cream, yes. I got the chocolate cream, and I got the banana cream. I got the I don't have peach cream, but I do have graham cracker cream and pecan cream. The peach crumble cream was very good cream. And I wish I creamed some on the way home so I could have more of the cream inside of my cream. French silk chocolate pie, if I remember correctly. Anyways, pecan pie is probably middle of the room. But anyways, pumpkin pie is the worst Thanksgiving pie. I will die on this hill. I will die on that hill forever. Part of the cream team. So much cream. Do you know why they don't have pumpkin cream pies, chat? It's because pumpkin is mid, you know? Those are fighting words, buddy, old pal. What do you mean hill? Your head is the hill. Yeah. And don't you dare shave it. Cheesecake is my favorite pie by far. That's very good. You know what? Cheesecake is a very good pie. Yes. My sister made a pumpkin pie cheesecake a couple days ago. It was so good. That does sound good, honestly. Ritsu, are you a pumpkin pie truther up here? Hashtag only cream. Hashtag only pie. Oh, fuck.
Sister's pie.
Okay. Okay. I gotta fucking do the promo then, I guess. Here we go. This is some fucking NXT goddamn bullshit that I set myself up for. Alright. The genesis of GirafaStev. Right. Well, you see, Longboy Club, when you think about pie, the only thing that really matters in this game is anything but the pumpkin pie. Personally, I'm a big cream pie enjoyer. And that means I don't need any time to cook in the oven to be my best self. All I need is some whipped topping, some flavored filling, and then I'm good to go. I don't need too many ingredients to be excellent. Because all you need is the star power and the charisma. I got both of those two things in spades. So if you're gonna come up into my kitchen, try to use my oven, and think that you can cook on my time, think again, pal, because I am the cream of the crop, and I will rise to the very top.
Cream.
Woo! I did it! Chad, I did it! Yay! Wow, that's very loud. I DN'd you an image of the Swerve quote, LMAO. Incredible. Okay.
Hello, Mario.
Top tier. Yeah, see? I avoided my genesis of Giraffa moment right there. Matt Stryker's just like, yeah, great promo, kid. Next to you. Listen, it is a great promo. It's motherfucking Christian, dude. Woo! Yeah. Chat, I need to like show you something rancid. All right. Finally, I need to show you the rancid thing I was talking about. Now listen. So, you can come on Blue Sky. Any one of you in chat can come on Blue Sky right now and tell me how my tasted cookies suck. Okay? Like, there's no way that you can get me to say, for instance, right? There is no way that you can get me to say that these cookies are worth more than the soul of my shoe, right? I think they're garbage tier. I think they are barely flavored powder turned into a solid and then sold to you as cookies. But I can see how the average person, especially if they grew up on these, could like them. You know? Yeah, Zach, you're speaking my fucking language. They do suck. Now you're finally someone in here with some sense. Someone in here who knows that when you're presented with this or a chocolate chip cookie, you go for the chocolate chip cookie. However, I can see how if you grew up with these, you would like them. I do not know who these are for, right? What this right here is frozen Gordon Ramsay meals.
Hello, Mario.
I play games sometimes. Hello. This right here is Gordon Ramsay frozen meals. What we got here? We have fried chicken bites, lasagna, lemon pepper chicken, fish and chips, mushroom risotto, stuffed pizza bites, which just looks like pizza rolls, cheese bites, slow roasted beef, looks like a beef Wellington, shepherd's pie, chicken pot pie, crab cakes and 4 cheese. Dude, can you listen? I don't know if Gordon signed off on these, but this feels like a goddamn affront to his legacy, right? This feels like an affront to its legacy. Gordon Ramsay had nothing to do with the making of these items, I bet. Dude, if he did, then he's no better than Guy Fieri.
Spare serotonin, please.
PBG. Thank you. Apparently, PBG thought that these were okay to cut. Yeah, but dude, Gordon Ramsay is not kind of good, right? He has a reputation to uphold, and I can guarantee you that the goddamn lemon caper chicken and the fake shepherd's pie, and especially the crab cakes, do not live up to that reputation, right? Like, if you go into the frozen aisle and you buy the Chef Ramsay stuff, it's like, that's it. It's game over. You know? You have rescinded your privilege to any good food in the future, right? His kimchi grilled cheese monstrosity not being here is a dead giveaway that this has nothing to do with the... Wait, what? Hold on. Kimchi grilled cheese. What? What? Okay, so... Okay, well, this right here doesn't look all too good, but, like... I mean, this looks fine, right? Kimchi grilled cheese sounds like an affront to every pantheon, and I like kimchi. You know, now that I think about it, having a bunch of crunchy stuff in there with grilled cheese doesn't sound all that good. Kimchi's awesome, but this is fucked up, LMFAO. I've always wanted to try the mashed spoon cereal, but holy shit, are they expensive. Okay, so... What the... Okay, hold on. Like, what the fuck? Give me just a second. Gordon Ramsay's ultimate... Hold on. Hold on, does it show up in this video? Ah! Does it show up in this video? Ramsay's had a few foul recipes in his time.
Now, we all love grilled cheese. I grew up with it. That was cheese on toast. But there's something...
Oh, yeah, because you're British.
A grilled cheese, especially when you have these incredible cheeses. A Romano with pepperberry.
Don't count him to cook any food not from a non-European country. Well, listen. He's one of, like, only 5 Europeans that can make, you know, good food that's not beans on toast and mashed peas. So if I'm going to trust any European to make an American food, it's probably going to be him. But, like, hold on, let me skim through this. Do we get the kimchi section of this? Do we get the kimchi section? Or is it not there? Okay, well, that doesn't look like too terrible, does it? What else does he put in there besides the cheese?
There's a little bit of kimchi.
Oh, God!
Kimchi.
Never mind. Never mind. He put it in there, dude. No! No, Gordon, what are you doing?
And kimchi.
Dude, like, listen to this audio, right?
Behind this grilled cheese, there's a little bit of kimchi.
It's like sloppy and wet, you know? It's like sloppy and wet. I don't want to eat that.
Behind this grilled cheese, there's a little bit of kimchi. Homemade kimchi, which is going to give a nice spicy texture to that incredible cheese.
Dude, if the texture sounds as bad as, if the texture is as bad as it sounds, I don't want any of that. Just use a spicy cheese, Gordon. Dude, what are the chances that I've had 2 streams in a row now that have involved kimchi in some way? Because last time we had a stream, we were playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, right? And one of the sub-stories has fucking Ichiban take someone's, like Reaper kimchi. And now here I am with Gordon Ramsay defiling a grilled cheese sandwich by putting roasted cabbage on it. You know? And I'm just like, is this my sign that I should try kimchi at some point? Because I feel like that the universe is now telling me something. Chat, do I need to make the kimchi grilled cheese? Try it on stream? I'm starting to think, like, I need to make the Reaper kimchi from goddamn Yakuza and put it on a grilled cheese. Next stream we watch Next stream we watch Kamala matches featuring his manager Kimchi. Oh yeah, the kimchi sub story and the Cheeto cookies. Oh yeah, that would make 2 like food related things that I need to do on stream, huh? I want to see what the comments of this say. Gordon, as soon as he realizes he messed up. Beautiful. Imagine asking your mate for a grilled cheese and he spends like 10 to 15 minutes stoking a fire and talking about the acidity of his homemade kimchi before serving you solid cheese on burnt bread. Dude. Okay, you know, maybe if they added the grilled cheese to the frozen food lineup, then it would be worthwhile. Because you think this shit is bad fresh. Try it frozen. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, jump up to the end. Wait, to the end of the video? Wait, why is it like this? Hold on. Wait, why did people fucking watch this part the most?
And this. Yeah, how crispy that is.
Okay, what the... Dude, that cheese isn't even, like, melted. We watched Kamala being the 50th person to body slam Andre before Hogan did at WrestleMania 3. The cheese isn't melted. It can't melt. It's raw. It's fucking raw. It's fucking raw, mate. That's not meltable cheese. Okay, I did everything I said. Every benefit of the doubt that I just gave this man, I take it back. Now listen, I do want to say something. It's not like you can't add other things to a grilled cheese. Like literally, like grilled ham and cheese, it's a classic. It's a classic comfort food. I mean, there are times where I'll put like pepperoni on a grilled cheese sandwich, right? Maybe with some, you know, like pizza seasonings, like, you know, oregano and Italian herbs, shit like that. You know, make myself like a grilled pizza cheese or something. Or like a pizza grilled cheese. Crispy ASMR. Dude, that was essential. If I want spice in my grilled cheese, I just cut up some Costco pepperoni sticks. Pepperoni on grilled cheese slats. It does. It does. There's a legit reason why we use a Kraft single for grilled cheese. And also a certain way that actual real cheese doesn't. Is that the reason? Wow. Okay. Okay, well that's one advantage that processed shit has over the actual thing then. Speaking of the actual thing, I think we need to get started with tonight's show, guys. But before we do, let's run an ad real fast. Yeah, for real, American cheese is the best melting cheese by far. It is. It is, though.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this. Also, it's great to have all of you here. This is a good opening segment.
Now, here's an infuriating game. Myst is a top
We have
PC
too much
game,
cheese
now
and
available from
cheese
Psygnosis
caves.
on the Sony PlayStation. No other game best represents the sluggishness of CDs. Even when you have the fast transition option selected from the menu screen, the game performs as well as a snail. Myst is definitely a classic though, and we see why. As we show you around the main island, notice the quality of detail in the graphics and the non-uniformity of trees and whatnot. Myst combines a surreal, what we call Gaia theme,
Good
and a
Lord.
scientific mysteriousness that both
Dude.
intrigues and perplexes.
Dude, that shit
Let's
about
get
put
back
me in
to
a
the
coma, I'm not gonna
infuriating
lie.
qualities. I almost forgot. We tried. We really tried. But even with a hint book, the game is invincible. There's one key problem area very early in the game, and we never passed it. The problem is in the spaceship, where you must enter a musical sequence to a tuner. The musical sequence is found in a book in the library, and there's even a harpsichord in the spaceship, so you can play the notes, hear them, remember them, and enter them correctly in the tuner. Well, good luck entering them. Even entering one note at a time won't work for us. We know other players who got stuck here too, but they only played the game briefly. This is absolutely ridiculous, because even though you know the solution, you can't execute it. Another gripe. Myst has no password feature, so memory cards are a must. One thing that isn't a must, however, is Myst itself. Sorry guys, but I've had enough of being mystified. And if I have to put up with one more groaning noise from the PlayStation as it very slowly switches screens, I'll freak out.
The game is invincible. You at the end of the last road to WrestleMania. Sorry, chat, but I've had enough of fighting Triple H.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
And if I have to have my moves reversed one more time when I try to break the cell on the outside of the ring, I'll freak out. Anyways, welcome back to Raw. Let's tap. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Alright, chat. Let's do it. Fuck it. Heal Rey Mysterio time.
Spare serotonin, please.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will need it. Give me strength serotonin. It is time for Smackdown. Oh yeah, that's right. We started first person. I forgot. I forgot all about this. I forgot that this is like how it begins. I think this is like the first Road to WrestleMania that I played. When I first played this game.
Just give him a minute. You'll be fine.
This was the first Road to WrestleMania I did, because I knew you couldn't unlock RVD in it. You can unlock Rob Van Dam, can't you?
You're not helping, Jack. Listen, you're going to be the one who needs an ambulance.
Bro, what the fuck? Huh? Wait, can I, like, do anything? Ah, my God. I'm heel turning early, brother. Wait. Is this how, like, the first week ends? Is this really how the first, like, week of the season ends?
Camera in the garage area and... Oh, no, Rey! He needs help! Rey!
We gotta go to the local medical facility, brother.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Ryan. Wait, we actually miss a week. Wow. Okay. Another misfortune for Rey Mysterio. He really is the sting of luchadors, brother. Apparently, who you attack determines what happens in the first week, if I remember correctly. Well, I didn't have control over that. I literally could not, like... I couldn't control myself. I couldn't see what I was doing.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Smackdown, coming to you from Tucson, Arizona. Michael Cole here with Jerry the King Lawler. After the disturbing series of events in the garage last week, we wanted to update the condition of Rey Mysterio.
That's right, Michael. Miraculously, Rey is feeling better and is even in attendance tonight. On behalf of him, we'd like to thank all the fans for sending letters and emails.
I just hope Rey takes it easy until he finds out the extent of his injuries from last week.
Man, dude, that's the 5 3/4 surgery in his left knee. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Rey, you've got to come quickly. There's a fire.
What? Huh?
Rey, I'm so glad you're here. We need a fire extinguisher, quick.
Okay, calm down. Where's the extinguisher?
It's right over there, brother.
I'm sure I've seen one around here somewhere. Oh, hurry, Rey. You've got to put it out.
Dude.
I need to get back to the fire.
Okay, cool. What? Rey back from a car accident after a week. Eat shit, Steve Austin. LMFAO.
I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't been here.
Dang, the hurricane was her beaten to the punch. Congratulations, citizen, for putting out that fire. He beat me here and got the girl? What's up with that?
Why is he not playable, chat? Why is he not playable? Bro, is this really, like, what's gonna be happening for, like... Wait, no, I remember, like, the first few weeks is literally just you, like dropping into situations and, like, the hurricane is also there. You could have asked Rey for a hug if you just wanted one. That to say, yeah. I mean, Rey's a cool guy, he'll do it. Cause the typhoon makes sure he isn't playing. He gave him a career-ending injury. That's right. Jomo.
Rey, when I heard we had a match tonight, I thought it was some kind of mistake. Are you sure you're up to this?
Hey, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, if you're sure you're good to go, then who am I to stop you?
Shouts out John Trainer there. Dude, whenever I think of, like, fucking Trainer, I just think of, like, the one character model from, like, WWF Attitude. Ah, playa. On your first night back, playa, you're gonna go one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Rey Mysterio. I heard you were here tonight, but I didn't believe it. I mean, I saw the limo after last week's accident.
I'm here tonight, boss, and I'm ready to work.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Rey, and good luck in your match tonight.
Oh shit, it's Teddy. Teddy, I can't believe they put you in the game, brother. They were ahead of the curve. Rey showing off how almost every wrestler in WWE is a tall freak. I literally, like, was just like there was something up with like the camera here, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but like you fucking did so beautifully. Like This right here is just showing how, like, much taller everyone is. Dude, I'm, like, right up here in Rey's business. I feel like a kid right here. Rey's wishing he was in TNA right now.
Rey, it's good to have you back, man. The aftermath of that accident last week looked awful. As I was leaving the arena, I saw a blue car. Must have been the one that hit you. It was demolished. I guess that old Mysterio luck hasn't quite run out yet, huh? Good luck tonight, man.
I had to get a 5 3/4 surgery in my left knee, brother. I really don't know what to tell you. But he's already better at acting at this point than most people. He is. He is. We're only 4 years away from Guardians at this point. Let's say, Mark, get out the freaking way. The world's Kool-Aid man, Mark
Rey,
Henry.
You're back. You're back already? Are you okay?
Yeah, man, I'm hanging in there. What did you say your name was?
Me? You mean you don't remember? It's your old pal, Jack Swagger. How could you forget me, buddy?
Jack. Yeah, of course. Look, Jack, I'm not quite back to 100%, but I've got a job to do tonight.
That's the famous Rey Mysterio spirit. Go get him, Tiger. And hey, if you need some help, just give your friend Jack Swagger a call. I'm sure I'm on your speed dial, but in case your phone is acting up, here's my number.
Okay, but don't you start calling me, okay? You don't have my number. Jack! Check 1, 2! Oh, yeah! Wait, is Batista asthmatic? If he is, and that's the first time I'm hearing of it. He often hid inhalers around the ring. Dude. Wow.
Hey, Jack, I got to thinking, maybe having a friend in my corner tonight wouldn't be such a bad idea.
Sure. I mean, yeah. You got it, Rey. I'll just add it to the list.
Are you sure that Batista can combat the acting chops of Jack Swagger?
I'll see you out there.
He would powder in matches to get a puff when needed. Huh. Wow. I guess that also kind of makes his retirement, like, after less than 10 years of, pretty understandable. Or at least, his retirement from, like, in-ring stuff more understandable. Considering, I'd imagine that trying to, do, wrestling when you're, like, asthmatic is pretty tough. Enough that he almost always played the heel. Brother, it's because he was such a good actor. Are you listening to this shit? I can't believe we have the goat of bad promos here for the entire playthrough. Dude, fucking Truth and Knox. Hell yeah. That right there is goddamn Truth and Consequences, and don't you forget it, Ritsu. We learned this back in Christian Cage's Road to WrestleMania. It's motherfucking Truth and goddamn Consequences. Now listen, chat. This ain't no make-believe. Oh wow, I didn't realize the opponents changed. Normally I fight Shelton, but here you fight Morrison.
Los Angeles, California, weighing 220 pounds.
Wait, is there like more like... Is there more like diverging paths in this story than I thought? That's still a hard team name. And Dave Bautista also still has anxiety issues. Yeah, those are hard to kick, but the fact that he's so successful is... I mean, he's probably the best, like, wrestler turned actor in, like, decades, right? He's at least definitely the most versatile. Only the realest fights on this channel. No, it's a fucking hard-ass name. Hands down, yes, thank you. I mean, Cena... I think, like, here's the list, right? Rock, Cena, Batista, right? Of the three, like, wrestlers that turn to actors, Batista's the best. And The Rock, despite... Oh man, he didn't do the jump. I guess he doesn't do the jump in this one. Nathan Jones also does good work for what he does.
By the All-American American.
The All-American American.
Diego, California, weighing 175 pounds, Rey Mysterio.
American. Nathan Jones also does good work for what he does. Okay, so should we or should we not put Nathan Jones above The Rock? Half serious question. WWE, well-established, shoot fed. Listen, my TEW save, that's what it's gonna be, alright? It'll be what it be. Alright, so. Let's go ahead. And let's do... Here comes the pain music. This one, the file names, is literally called 619.
Removed from that awful accident, Mysterio is competing on SmackDown. Not only that.
Okay, so I feel like we should make Jomo look at least a little good, right?
That makes zero sense.
What the fuck do you know, Michael Cole? For all we know, Jack Swagger is a perfectly awesome friend. Alright? Nathan Jones 1, Dwayne 0. For fucking sure. Wow.
Rey Mysterio seemed a bit off to you so far.
Morrison is good at throwing opponents off their game. But you may be onto something, Kate.
Hello, Mario.
Oh, nice. I see you're slamming for the day. Dude, I'm slamming every day, okay? Alright, this right here is for the Cruiserweight Championship. We gotta fucking put on a show here, Jomo. At least I'm pretty sure it's for the Cruiserweight title. So, at least that's what it says on the sheet.
This guy's so quick, he just needs to get that motor going and start flying around the ring.
Nice.
John Morrison may be seeing stars.
He's going for the pin. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Mysterio wins.
Brother!
Underdog did it.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Heard or not, Mysterio picked up.
Jomo Sapiens, they're going to eat you for lunch. Dude, I wanted to make him look good, but fucking Morrison is all like, nah man.
We'll see you back here.
I want to go to TNA. I want to fucking go to TNA, alright? Please. Hi, Warhorse. Welcome to tonight's Longboy Club Me. Hey, after the Triple H Y2J cell match, this might be a sight for sore eyes. Well, sure. But, like, listen. Listen, I like Morrison. Right? Or Johnny TV, as he's now called. Oh, 619.
Called me? Yes, Ray. It's me. Teddy Long. Look, I wanted to let you know.
Oh no, dude, he has Shadow the Hedgehog syndrome.
About the accident 2 weeks ago. Somehow, the arena security tape went missing.
It's water under the bridge to me, Teddy.
Well, as general manager of SmackDown, I want to know what happened. But second, I wanted to tell you that I have a tag match set up for you. I think putting you in a singles match last week may have been a mistake.
Yeah, did you see how much shine I got?
Find someone? You can count on me, Ted.
Listen, playa, if you're gonna come out here and start burying my roster right after you got into a car accident, I don't know if I can have that, playa. So I'm putting you in a tag team match. That way other wrestlers can have some shine. Man, finally, Ray picked up the phone. He finally picked up goddamn Eddie's phone. Have a good night, Patch.
The Royal Rumble is just 2 weeks away as SmackDown.
Man, finally, Ray picked up the phone, yes.
Competition is just beginning to heat up. unlike the weather outside, King.
Every superstar on the SmackDown roster is clamoring for a spot in the 30-man Royal Rumble match. And who can blame them?
One such hungry superstar.
I've been calling him for days. He keeps declining. Well, he picked up that time, you know. You would think this man has amnesia.
Nothing beats a
You'd think
refreshing
so.
sip of
Man,
water.
I'm looking for a partner for my match tonight. You up for it?
I'd love to help you, Ray, but I just got finished tossing the Big Show around the ring. I'm done for the night. Any other day but this one, you know I'd be there for you.
I'll take your word for it. No problem.
All right. So chat, no meme, right? The less I have to see of Jack Swagger, the better. So I'm gonna go and find Matt Sydal, and we're gonna fucking have this match. You're supposed to be my friend, Dave. Ask Hurricane. Where is he? Where is the Hurricane? Do you know if he's here anywhere? Edge, Christian hasn't come back yet.
I heard you had amnesia. What? Did you forget which locker room was yours?
Sorry, dog. I just...
Don't worry about it. That coward Chris Jericho ducked out of here before I could get my hands on him. It looks like you're running all over the place. If you happen to see him, tell him I'll get him back next week.
Hey, how will I know this Jericho guy when I see him?
Just look for the guy whose head is about 3 sizes bigger than it should be.
What? Alright, well, you know what? I saw him doing a fucking, I saw him doing the little in the goddamn parking lot, so we gotta go and check up on him now. I was memeing. Well, listen, we already saw the Hurricane once this run. Maybe we'll see him again. Now, if the Typhoon were in this game, I know who I'd be asking to team up with me. Nothing worse than a convicted felon to team up with you.
Where you going?
Someplace where they only wear masks on Halloween. Who wants to know?
Well, Edge said...
Edge is mad he lost, and that I have places to go and people to see.
So, basically, you're a coward?
Me? A coward? How about I show you next Thursday on Superstars what a coward I am?
Alright, fine. Al Snowpeas. Maybe he's in the Al Snowpeas. I wish this game had Foley so he could do Al Snow jokes with Edge. I like that. I like that very, very much. Listen, now I'm determined to find the Hurricane, okay? Damn, on the greatest running show of all. Listen, again, we're over there putting butts in seats. At this point, Jericho is, like, chasing the WWE title. So if anything, this right here is a lost match, you know? Matt freaking Hardy, you want to team up? Okay, fine. Fucking fine. Whatever. Leave. Fucking fine. Oh no, Punk's got promo time, brother.
Tonight, Undertaker and I go one-on-one.
And I'm gonna use real glass.
I'm gonna use my superior skill and my sharper, unclouded mind to win the match and retain my championship. And the fans are gonna drunkenly cheer the dead man. I only hope someday people will learn. I hope they learn that Undertaker is not worth cheering. And I'm the one deserving of the WWE Universe's awe and respect.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, why are these pauses so long?
I've accepted that because I'm the better man.
And do with a promo like that, you gotta go to AEW. I bet. Alright. let's go and talk to Matt Sydal. Speaking of this era of Punk, my elite came in and it's everything I've ever wanted. Oh yeah?
Ray, hey man, I hear you have a tag match tonight.
Yeah, I do. I seem to be lacking a partner, though.
I'm down. Evan Bourne and Rey Mysterio are the most formidable tag team in WWE.
Sure, why not?
Yo,
gave him a long...
Hear it, Evan. It should be great.
I love how, like, Ray's, like, delivery just sounds, like, off enough to where it almost hides his, like, lack of, like voiceover experience. Gave him a long hair head sculpt and it's perfect. Now, when you say, like, elite line, that's like a WWE figure, yeah? Phil, we're going to need to shoot that again. You just randomly paused too much. Like, Phil, we can't fucking edit around this, man. You have to, like, deliver this better. Listen, I know it's SmackDown and it's fucking pre-taped, but we can't cut around this, man. Stop fucking with the production truck and cut the fucking promo. Swagger just sitting sadly in his locker room, staring at his phone, waiting for the call. Shatner-esque pauses. Phil, we can't just jump cut like a YouTube video. Dude, truth and consequences? No shit. Yes! Yeah, let's go! Let's fucking go! Big fucking boos for R-Truth, man.
Following is a tag team.
Ah, yeah, baby.
Introducing first.
Crack that head.
521 pounds. Truth and consequences.
They recorded a goddamn special intro for these guys? Were these two ever a team in WWE? I don't think they were. But apparently, dude, Mike Knox's singles theme is fucking awesome. LMFAO. Okay, do we need to, like, check it out? I'm thinking we need to check it out, do we? So hold on, is this just gonna be like a normal, like, tag entrance here? Yeah.
At a combined weight of 358 pounds, Rey Mysterio and Evan Bourne.
They recorded a unique opening for them too? What the fuck? If you want to, LOL. I kind of want to, but I just know that shit's gonna get me blicked. Must be like the name wrestlers in Jericho's Red to WrestleMania that aren't in the game. Ah, yeah, one's like fucking Carlito and the goddamn Chris Masters, even though Chris Masters is DLC. But let's ignore that. Guys like Carlito are listed in the fucking match card, but they're not in this game. Yeah, maybe Knox and Truth was planned and they just changed it. Tommy Dreamer. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer was also listed. I was just like, Tommy's not in the company at this point. He's over there being like Extreme version 2 in TNA. This isn't the only non-existent team in base game because Jericho and Miz are in universe mode by default. They teamed for like 1 week and then they didn't team again. All right. I think that we need to do this.
Intriguing tag match we have right here.
All right, player, you're going to need to stay on the outside for this match and let Evan Bourne get some shine. We're building him up for WrestleMania, and we need him to look good.
He's going to need to kick it up.
Carlito, Dreamer, and Khali. And the great Khali.
Hello, Mario.
Dude. Dude, the great Khali is listed in this game. Maybe on the match card. Maybe not actually in the game. Jericho's still not over his breakup from Jared's show. Listen, man, the Big Show was fucking out for blood and Jericho's road to WrestleMania.
Ah, look at this!
Dude! This match was recorded twice. Ow! There you go.
And there's a tag. Watch it. What a punch!
Dude! Teddy, are you sure that you want goddamn that Seidel to be in the main event of WrestleMania?
Are falling victim to the quickness of their opponents.
They need to.
Are they?
Keep either Bourne or Mysterio from tagging and then go to work.
And now his partner comes in, Evan Bourne.
So my question is this. If you pick Jack Swagger, do you get a different team or is it always truth and consequences? You damn right I want him in the main event. What the fuck? Dude. What the fuck? I honestly don't know.
Evan Bourne into
Dude, that would be sick as fuck.
We got a tag.
R-Truth out of nowhere.
This could do it, and he breaks up the pinfall.
Okay, good.
And he finally gets out of
I
the
think
ring.
Ray's car crash accident is contagious. Are you saying that Matt Seidel got in one too?
Evan Bourne has the headlock.
Dude, that'd be peak. That'd be so fucking peak. Goddamn. Dude, a high-flying team and we get goddamn limb work.
R-Truth with the agility to reverse it. Oh, man, shoulders down. And Evan kicks out. And now he's back out on the apron.
Dude, dude, are you kidding me?
Oh, no, he's just obsessed with punishing that back. R-Truth squeezing down on the head. Oh, my, just raw.
Dude, are you fucking sure about all this? Are you fucking sure?
R-Truth.
R-Truth!
R-Truth nails it.
Dude, Matt Seidel is looking like a fucking scrub right now. Or he's also getting race symptoms of amnesia and unsteadiness. I'm not a... Wait, what the fuck? A Sister Abigail?
Hooking the leg. 1, 2, and he finally gets out of the ring. And the monstrous Mike Knox gets the win.
Wait, do we have to win this match? Yeah, we need to win the goddamn commentary trying to salvage this match. Dude, literally, this match was recorded twice. Look out. Here comes Matt Seidel. That fucking goddamn Meteora lives rent-free in my head.
Ow, what an elbow.
Evan Bourne controlling the head.
Nice.
Evan Bourne's feeling it. Look at this.
The big boot. What a sickening impact.
Damn it. No matter, Aaron got released from WWE SMH.
Uh-oh. And there's the Hurricane Rana. A quick cover. 1. And he gets the shoulder up.
That's to say, Ray,
Evan Bourne.
Ray, you need to fucking get back to the freaking other end of the ring. I just got an ace kill as some Jeff and
It's
Marvel
almost time
rivals.
for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
I mean, getting kills with like Jeff the Land Shark isn't like unheard of. It's most definitely possible.
Mysterio into the headlock. Oh.
All right, let's see if Mike Knox goes down just as bad to Rey Mysterio. These guys in canon are the tag champs, by the way.
Mysterio going for the cover.
He hasn't done nearly enough to get the pin yet.
And he finally gets out of the ring. Mysterio.
There you go.
Back out on the apron.
Come on, brother. What? You're not getting that shit, dude.
There it is. A huge 6-1.
1-9.
Truth and consequences are falling victim to. And will this be it?
They're falling victim to Matt Sydal. We know.
Rey wins. Rey Mysterio did it.
Cool. Fantastic match, truly.
Keep up with Mysterio and Bourne.
Rey and Evan Bourne both look very solid, like a couple of real championship contenders.
Rey with the cheeks.
A little over a week away.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The cheeks. Do I need to pay attention to Rey Mysterio's butt cheeks now? Is this like something that I've learned? The cheeks into the big sit. What do you mean cheeks? He's got a mask on.
The following contest is a submission match.
What? A submission match? Ah, yes, Rey Mysterio's fucking famous submission hold here. W Superstars only on WGN America Thursday nights at 8/7 Central. Check your local listings. Dude, with action like this, look at this. Look at this chain wrestling right here.
In trouble.
Wait, Jericho's on SmackDown? This is after his campaign, LMAO. This is after his campaign, LMAO.
Devastating.
Listen, dude.
He put all his weight behind that splash.
On Raw, he plays a heel. On SmackDown, he also plays a heel. Okay, listen.
Jericho has the head.
Listen, can we just say that he's like a workhorse heel? Is that something that can exist? Not the arm bar.
Completely helpless to resist the submission hold.
And he fights his way out.
Yeah, this apparently takes place after the fucking. Or this takes place supposedly concurrently with Chris Jericho's Road to WrestleMania.
The kick connects. Oh, and this one's spilling out of the ring.
This is 1 week before he wins the U.S. title, dude.
They want outside of the ring.
I mean, isn't that what the Radicals were, or Bob Backlund?
Mysterio controlling the head.
Well, where they were like faces on one show and heels on another?
That'll cause some damage. Jericho into the tie-up.
Not to say, like, Jericho's actually, like, giving me a bit of trouble here, I feel like.
Rey Mysterio is extremely motivated here.
Oh no, the workhorse heel. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well then I guess Jericho is the new Radical. Dude, ow! I got MVP as Jeff. Dan, I'm not gonna lie, we've been talking about wrestling here for like a second. And so when you said that, I thought
it's
you meant
almost
like
time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Montel Vontavious Porter in the goddamn Jeff Hardy face paint. And honestly, that would be kind of sick. I would like to see that.
And Mysterio's going flying.
I would like to see MVP like wear his fucking like crazy ass face paint. I said that after his campaign because of the bad ending for Jericho's campaign. Oh, right. Yeah. I know what you mean.
and he escapes the hold.
I was about to say, are we about to make him tap with the walls of Jericho? No, dude. Dude, I need that. I need that so bad now.
And then use what brought him to the dance in order to finish this match off.
A perfect drop kick.
I need this more than most things now. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that the arm bar is going to... Arm bar!
And there's the submission. This might be it. Would you look at this? Can you...
Dude, Rey...
This is an
I would not be surprised if Rey's, like, submission abilities are dog ass. Workhorse entertainment. Dude, we got fucking submissions and limb work here on Superstars. It is absolutely goated television right here. Minor show, my ass. We're over here blazing trails.
Jericho reverses it.
Yeah, baby. Come on, man. I'm gonna have you tap out your own submission.
And the assault continues on the injured torso.
I would have to imagine that Rey's goddamn submission stat is like dog rough. It's gotta be fucking terrible, dude.
Oh, it doesn't get more punishing than that.
Mysterio with the arm.
Ouch! Your arm hurts so bad after that. This could be big.
Dude, I gotta get to his legs. Where,
Mysterio over the top rope, doing what he does best.
let's say, what are Rey's, like, submission, rather, what are his signatures?
Oh, the elbow connects.
Did you hear that New Jack is getting a WWE Elite figure? He's even coming with a staple gun accessory. So, like, 2 points, right? First off, I'm surprised that, like, New Jack, of all people, is getting a WWE figure. I mean, that's not a negative thing, I'm just surprised. That's really cool. And 2, that's where Strickland did it better. When he nonchalantly stapled Matt Jackson's testicles, I knew that... I knew the staple gun spot had peaked. Alright? I knew it peaked from that.
Mysterio goes behind.
My Cactus Jack and Sandman Elite figures are arriving Saturday.
This could be huge.
How many figures do you have, Ritsu?
Look at how he's sitting on that bar.
Submission locked in tight. This could do it.
Dude, that wasn't even a second.
Termination.
That wasn't even a second's worth of submission. What do I need to do to... Dude, what do I need to do? Ow! Damn it. At least over 100 LMFAO. That's awesome.
From behind.
I'm happy for you.
He hits the Russian leg sweep.
He's got him hooked.
I do not have anyone hooked, dude. I only have a few
What a sensational maneuver.
figures. I have 2 Hangman ones. Neither of them are the tights, which is my preferred look for him. I have the figure of Hangman from, like, before he was in AEW. And I have one with him in, like, street clothes with him holding the championship.
Grabbed a hold.
It's almost time for a 2-minute
We're gonna go
Cheetos
ahead
break,
and we're
my
gonna try
dudes.
to fucking take this shit home. Alright, Jericho, it's time to fucking take it home.
I think he's looking to call San Diego.
Maybe you need Doc Luz to give you advice for this match. Maybe. Dude! Stop! 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 Cease! We're fucking trading.
Oh, that did it. Jericho into the headlock.
I'm willing to guess that we do not have any more snoozes. No, we do not. Alright, we need to fucking... run an ad. I'm sorry, chat. Either way, I'm pretty sure that we need pin button become a submission instead. I'm pretty sure. I mean, the pin button is circle, right? I'm pretty sure pin is circle. I'll need to check it after the ad break. You know what? For how many matches I played in this game so far, you'd think I know which button is pin. But I do not off the top of my head. Okay. Bezos. Interrupt my stream already. Look, ad money. Workers' rights violations.
It's
Unpaid
break time.
Oh, okay, that
Where
got
the
him.
heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this.
In Tasmania by Sunsoft, basically all Taz needs to do is grab Kiwis and avoid vehicles on the road. To make quick work of this game, first access the options screen by pressing select on the title screen. Press AY, AY, XY, BARL. The screen will shake and you will be able to select any level of the game. This feature will be much appreciated by players who will find that Tasmania is boring at times. Bottom line, Tasmania is easy to beat with stage select.
My beloved dog Romeo has entered the chat, everyone. Oh my god, I just looked at Soul, I just looked at the thing you sent me from the Chris Van Vliet show. Chat, I need you to fucking internalize this, okay? I need you to goddamn internalize this with me because it is insane. This is how Swerve describes his feud with Hangman. Because we are both sick individuals, the thing is, the chemical romance between us is that we need each other. I think that's why it bars. Absolute toxic yaoi bars.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hi, welcome back to Raw. To repeat, for anyone who wasn't here, this is what Swerve Strickland said to Chris Van Vliet about Hangman Adam Page and why they're so successful together. Because we are both sick individuals, the thing is, the chemical romance between us is that we need each other. I think that's why it works. How is this not a love story, dude? Wrestling is a love fucking story. Alright? This is the shit that all of your fanfics that you wish you could write were made of. Dude, I love My Chemical Romance too. So, like, when they team up, does this mean that they'll come out to Helena? Because I would like that. I would like Helena to be their goddamn entrance music, Tony Khan. Please. Please do it so badly. I want it. I want it so bad now. Complete the toxic yaoi destiny. I need it very bad. They should come out to I'm Not Okay. Oh, that would also be great. Wow. You know what would be even better? Me playing the fight music again. And this time, you know, Superstars, it deserves major circuit, not minor circuit.
You hear how his leg connected?
What the fuck, dude? All right, let's see if it does. Yes! Yeah! What the fuck?
Can you believe it? This is an undying will to succeed.
Dude, I'm about to fucking bust this man open.
Wow! Look at him go! What a hurricanrana! Mysterio!
Again! 360 camera for no reason. West Coast Pop.
619!
Please!
Oh my gosh!
Fucking tap out!
Did you look at this? Fighting and clawing with every fiber of his being, refusing to submit.
Alright, do I need to, like, just wait until Rey Mysterio is, like, not winded anymore? Maybe the reason why I can't do it is because I'm gassed. Let's try it.
What a deadly submission hold this is.
We might see a tap out right here.
And he fights out of it.
What the fuck, dude?
Mysterio controlling the weight.
That's a Russian leg sweep your mother, dude.
Complete control. Look at how he's sitting on that top submission.
I'm gonna make you tap out of your own move.
Refusing to give in there. What sheer determination. Jericho.
Dude, this match is so hard. I assume it's because the arm being part of the submission since it hasn't been targeted.
What an incredible suplex.
Dude, I should have fucking done like the...
Mysterio.
I should have done like the pump downs with them. That would have been so cool. Alright, we're gonna do it again. One more. Dude, 3 619s on Superstars. 619! Also, Russian leg sweep equals the Ritsu. Is this true?
That must be excruciating. Nowhere to go. Center of the ring.
What the fuck?
Can you believe it? This is an undying will to succeed.
Okay, you know what? You know what? Fuck it.
He's gonna give up. He's gotta give up. No one can get out of this.
My submission status, Garbo!
No, no.
Ow!
Here he comes.
Is DQ on? You gotta be kidding me, man. Okay, hold on.
What's he up to here? Under the ring. But this isn't a no disqualification match. He might be trying to get disqualified.
I didn't mean to do that! Dude, I forgot! I forgot that you could throw that shit at him. No! Man, come on. Fucking Rey Mysterio is so amnesia rattled.
I suppose stapling someone's balls together is a cheaper alternative to vasectomy.
Homunculus, what the fuck? What the? What?
With the Royal Rumble now just 2 days away, SmackDown rolls into Bismarck, North Dakota for what's sure to be a wild night of action.
Michael, It'll be the last chance saloon for 3 competitors tonight.
Dude, you know that modern WWE would never run North Dakota in any city.
And with a huge opportunity on the line, I'm expecting this to be one wild match.
Bro. After a finish like that, hearing shit about, I'll staple my balls together so I don't have to get a vasectomy, is wild bullshit, dude.
Whoa! Help! Help me!
Hold on. I'll get the ladder.
Get the fucking ladder!
Put the ladder under me!
Dude, get the fucking ladder. There you go. Cool.
Whew. Thanks, Ray. I'm ever glad you were here. My her sense was tingling, but I see you were in the right place at the right time, citizen. So let me get this straight. You save people. You put out fires. And you wear a mask? It sounds like someone's trying to put the hurricane out of a job. What's up with that?
Hey, I'm no superhero. Just an ordinary guy trying to help out.
I'll be keeping my eye on you, Ray, if that is your real name.
This tag team would have sold so much merch, dude. Cool.
To be fair, you did mention Swerve stapling Hangman's balls earlier.
Tell her I love her.
Now, I mentioned that Swerve stapled Matt Jackson's balls, but close enough. Proceeds to actually get put out of a job. Oh, so sad. Hey.
Ray, listen. I'm worried about you. You're one of the best superstars in the WWE, but you're in a weakened state right now. It seems like people are taking advantage of you.
You're being played, Ray. I personally think it's funny.
Someone's playing me. Who?
Jack
Evan
Swagger.
Bourne.
Bourne? Evan's just trying to help Ray.
How can you say it's Swagger's fault? He was the only one who helped.
Oh, calm down. You're both wrong. And this arguing is making my head hurt.
If you listen to one thing I ever say to you, Ray, do what you should have done weeks ago and go to the training room. Let Smitty check you out.
Smitty, huh? Oh, oh man. I got a migraine now. Why can't I play as him? Plot twist, Dom traveled back to the past to screw with Ray from behind the scene. So we finally got a name for the doc. Dude, I'm gonna go and talk to the sword from fucking Mario RPG. Alright. Make him in universe mode. Make Smitty in universe mode. Ah, dude, you shouldn't have said that, because now I'm gonna do it. Doc, please help me. My head hurts, my tummy hurts, my foot kinda hurts today. I just need something, bro. Give me some of those, ultra relaxants.
Have a seat. I know you went through some trauma a while back, and I think your mind is still processing it.
Meaning what?
Meaning you have some repressed memories. I want you to try this. Close your eyes and really think about what happened that day.
What the? But this time we don't get to actually control it. My left knee hurts. This camera angle never in the PS2 version, by the way. I remember that. I remember that.
Ray, can you hear me?
Ah, Jack Swagger with the fucking Oscar acting right here.
We have to call the police and get him some help.
Just give him a minute. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and then I proceed to beat the shit out of Evan Bourne for some reason.
Whoa, Swagger. Huh?
That sounds like progress to me. Come back if you want another session.
I think I need to go talk to Jack.
I think you've had enough breakthroughs for one day, Ray.
So wait. Okay, I was about to say. To be fair, kind of worse considering the story. Kinda, yeah. Alright. Jack! You gotta show me some of those Oscar-worthy acting skills, bro. Give it to me, baby.
Ray, did you see that? I showed Matt Hardy what Jack Swagger's all about.
You showed Matt freaking Hardy.
Good job. Look, what do you know about my accident, Jack?
Well... I know your limo was trashed. I saw you lying there. I just did what I could. Why?
Well, my memory's starting to come back. And the first face I remember seeing was yours.
Well, of course you'd remember me, buddy. I was there for you. Look, don't you have a match now? Go get that out of the way, then we'll go hit the town with the Bellas. Just like old times. I'll take care of you, amigo. Like always.
Dude. Wait, hold. Okay, hold. Okay. Dude, what is what is this match? Rey Mysterio versus JTG versus Mike Knox. Los Conquistadors versus Chris Jericho and Dolph Ziggler. Evan Bourne versus Shad Gaspard and Truth. Finlay versus Henry. Beth Phoenix and Michelle McCool versus Mickey James and Eve Torres. Dude, this is your go-home show. What the fuck is this? Ray doesn't remember that he's married? Dirty Dom? I don't know who you're talking about, man. I don't know who the hell you're talking about. I also don't know why my knee, specifically my left one, hurts so much. Nearly asked who the Los Conquistadors. Los Conquistadors. I had what kind of ladder match?
The following triple threat match is scheduled for
Dominic Mysterio? Listen, for one thing, Dominic is a stupid name. I would never name my kid that. And two,
Mike Knox.
And two, if he were to become a wrestler, that kid is never gonna go anywhere with a name like that. Especially if he doesn't have a mask, like his dear old dad. And especially if they present him as a heel. That would never work. Never, ever, ever. Yeah, I feel like listening to goddamn Mike Knox's theme would get me blocked so quick. So you're naming your kid Subnick? Got it. Yeah, because as we've seen, Mommy is always on top. I fought for whose custody in a ladder match? I just found a 3DS theme for WWE ECW 2009. What is this? Okay, well, you need to show it to me then. You gotta show me that shit, Ritsu. Hold on. Also, we've been going for like nearly 2 hours at this point. What the fuck, dude? Ah! Why are we like... How? How, chat? How do we do this? How do we do this, you and me? DM'd it to you on Discord. Okay, we'll check it out after this match.
Earning a place in the Royal Rumble.
Man, just look at the size of Knox. I gotta give him the advantage in this.
Okay, so
Watch it.
Mysterio.
so this right here is for a spot in the Royal Rumble match.
What a Hurricane Rana. That wasn't even close to 3.
Mysterio.
You tried putting on a 5-star classic with Jericho, that's how. Yeah, that's very, very true. I did try putting on that 5-star classic. And we did it, I think. Without even leaving the cage, we did it.
And you can feel the emotion pouring out of Rey Mysterio. Right in the mouth. Here goes JTG.
Oh wait, are we gonna do it? No! No, JTG, do your shit. Cage? There was no cage. Oh god, the symptoms have spread to you too. Dude, does everyone in my chat just have fucking amnesia now? Like, what is happening?
And there's the double team. Oh no! Here he comes!
Does everyone in chat have fucking CTE now? Like, what is happening? It's Mike Knox. No, I don't have amnesia. Whatever your name is.
With a place in the Royal Rumble on the line.
And that means the winner is that much closer to championship.
The limo wreck gave me a migraine. Sorry.
Huge impact delivered.
GirafaStev. We all have amnesia, brother. Whatever that is.
That'll do some damage.
GirafaStev. It's Mike Knox.
Controlling the head.
I enjoy that Mike Knox has the young lion fit. No, I'm pretty sure you're thinking of Jerry Sags there, Tom Street. I mean, he fits the limo part. I mean, he fits the lion part perfectly. Well, with his hair. Again, my favorite Mike Knox thing ever is not even something that he did, but something that I had him do in one of my booking simulators. Back when I played a Journey of Wrestling, one of the Booker goals, XWF, that's your face. But no, back when I played Journey of Wrestling,
JTG into the head.
one of the goals that Paul Heyman gave me as Booker of 2006 ECW was to put Shannon Moore and Mike Knox in a tag team and make them upper mid-carders. And in order to do that, I needed to repackage Mike Knox entirely. Hey, man, remember the time you had the WrestleMania sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch? And it was with your son, Dominic? I told you I don't have a son named Dominic! Man, I love this, like, fucking floating DDT, huh? Ritsu. Heroes of Wrestling being my gold standard for bad wrestling really is a blessing in disguise. Why would you say that?
The match wears on.
This is his last chance to qualify for the Royal Rumble. He won't let it slip away without a fight.
Dude, just fucking target Mike. Ow! No, I don't want Mike Knox's signature move, dude. Okay, cool.
Mysterio. Hurricane Rana tossing his opponent down.
Fucking count it, ref!
1, 2, 3.
Ah, yeah, baby! We unfortunately watched it, and wow, is it that bad. heard that gambling plays a big part. It plays a big part in the main event. Not even funny bad, just sad.
The Last Chance Saloon opened
So unlike the XWF or the WXO.
Rey Mysterio is in the Rumble, where he's done the impossible before. Will history repeat itself Sunday?
My favorite thing about the WXO, right? Oh wait, hold on.
So then I kicked him in the stomach and connected with a gut-wrench powerbomb. From there, it was academic. Get it? Academic? I'm an All-American.
Well, listening to you talk about your matches for the last 4 hours has been, fun. But it's getting late. Yeah, we should probably get going.
Hey, I've been refreshing Ray's memory. Remember, my good buddy here has amnesia. Besides,
He shot the hedgehog.
be out with us, right, Ray?
Yeah, ladies. This is a good time. Don't ruin it by copying an attitude.
Us? Attitude?
Ray, you slime ball.
One who's changed, and not for the better. Ever since your new best friend.
You said you should go, then go. We'll close down this place like we always do. Isn't that right, Mr. Mysterio?
That's right, Mr. Swagger.
Mr. Swagger?
To the Royal Rumble.
That reminds me, bro. I bet you forgot about the time I made John Cena tap out at the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I saw that fucking tape. Dude, when I was a kid, my entire understanding of Jack Swagger came from this fucking story mode. It became like, wait, hold on.
What's up, Ray? You've been a tough guy to get a hold of.
Evan,
Hello, Mario.
Matt Seidel, shut up. Itsune.
For life.
With the long boys, girls, NBs, and AGs.
Mario.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Itsune. Hi, man. What's up? Thank you so much for raiding on in here. Thank you for bringing your lovely community over here and entrusting me with them. What were you doing over on your end? Did you have fun doing it? And if so, I hope you have fun next time. For those of you who are new to the Long Boy Club, my name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club. I am, of course...
For life.
Okay, I got a couple of new followers here.
Hello, Mario.
And then I'll do my spiel. God damn it. Okay. Amir550R. How do you... Can you tell me how you say that without, without the numbers? Or should I just call you Amir? But anyway, it's Amir and the first protagonist. Thank you both very much for following. You are now members of the Long Boy Club for life. And when you're in the Long Boy Club, you are, of course, privy to the joys of the club, including a lot of wrestling content. If you are into wrestling, you've come to the right place. I play a lot of wrestling games. I like creating my own characters in these games and telling my own little stories with them. I enjoy kind of keeping my own little continuity with all of these games too. We call it the Giraverse. And right now, Rey Mysterio is on the fast track. The eternal white meat good guy, Rey Mysterio, is about to become the most despicable man in all of wrestling. And you can watch that and so much more by just following the channel.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Two in a row. And I gotta go to an ad right away. God. Yep. But yes, Trev Mageddon, thank you very much for bringing on in. Did you have fun over on your stream? And if so, I hope you have fun again. Itsune, Trev, if you guys need to
Hello,
raid and
Mario.
run, that is absolutely fine. I appreciate you entrusting your communities with me. But before we could continue on with Rey Mysterio's dickhead arc, I need to be a dickhead and run a commercial break. It's like the NWO all over again.
It's break time. Where the heck's
Who
the
will be the
Cheetos, my
third
dude?
man? Will there be a third man? Guys, thank you so much. Thank you. Now for sports games. WWF No Mercy is the latest title from Aki Corporation, all of which are inferior to Acclaim's WWF Warzone and Attitude titles. While the roster of this game I'll is give my certainly spiel impressive, after this the fact goddamn is ad that break. The wrestling is slow, and setting up for the fancier moves is next to impossible. We were pulling our hair out trying to do the people's
Wait back
elbow.
in a second. I need to stretch in a
Come
I
on,
need to
it's
stretch.
just an elbow drop. Almost every wrestler in the game has some kind of elbow drop, but they just had to make it super complicated for The Rock. That's absurd, folks. The sound quality in this game is also terrible, with many of the iconic themes being crushed down to fit on the Nintendo 64. And the entrances have been reduced to 10 seconds of posing on the ramp. A real downgrade from what even WCW Revenge offered. One thing Aki does better than Acclaim, however, is customization. You can change almost everything about every wrestler in the game. We brought back the skinny white turd from our review of WWF Attitude and gave him a great entrance. Here's what our game guy, Tom Allen, cooked up for us. Okay. We're almost back.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Now, hello, Raiders. For those of you who do not know, my name's GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer, all things gaming, wrestling, Sonic Burger King toys, and my stinky cats. Tonight, we are, of course, playing Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania story in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. If any of you are new here, and you enjoy wrestling, you've come to the right place. I do a lot of wrestling streams on this channel, be it video games, tier lists, etc. I like creating my own characters in these games, telling my own little stories, even creating a little pocket dimension of sorts, and where all of these characters and storylines kind of exist within the same timeline. We call it the Giraverse, and you know, the more I talk about it, the more I feel like I need to make a presentation on it so we can get everybody up to speed. But yeah, if you enjoy, you know, wrestling games, RPGs, strategy, especially if you like things like Sonic and Yakuza as well, you're gonna love it here. I guarantee it. And I would really appreciate a follow if you'd be so kind. And maybe join the Discord server where we do weekly watch-alongs, including all of the pay-per-views for all Elite Wrestling, except for World's End next month, because I will be going to World's End in person. It's going to be fun. It's going to be sick. I'm going to be in Chicago with my friend Patch. Maybe you could try to spot us. I'll share my goddamn signs, so that maybe you guys could spot us when we go there. That'd be fun. That would be very, very fun. But yeah, let us continue on with this. Oh yeah, by the way, the next watch along that we're doing in the server is going to be Sonic Underground, and that is on Sunday. We are going to try to watch Sonic Underground. And when I say try, I mean that we're going to see if the first few episodes, you know, interest us. And if they don't, we're just going to move on to something else. Because we've already, you know, done kind of some of the major episodes of, you know, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. We've done all of Sat AM. And Underground is kind of like the indisputable, like, bottom of the totem pole when it comes to, that era of Sonic cartoon. So, we're going to see if we like it. If we do, then we'll continue it. I at least want to watch the episodes with Knuckles in them. Specifically the one where he watches a flashback on a waterfall. My favorite goddamn image is that... My favorite goddamn image from the show is goddamn Knuckles. Just looking into the waterfall. Knuckles, Sonic, Underground. I'm going to fucking find this picture. Waterfall. Please. No! No, it doesn't give me what I'm thinking, dude. I'm gonna need to goddamn, like, take a screenshot of it, I think. Because it's literally just him looking at, like, a flashback through a waterfall. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Dude, why does Knuckles have a 5 head? Why does he have a 5 head? Why does he have a fucking 5 head, dude? He also doesn't have his goddamn knuckles aren't there. His goddamn knuckles aren't there. His namesake is not in his character design here. Meanwhile, he has like tiny feet and a 5 head. He's ready to tackle someone head on, brother. like someone just smushed his whole head. Wow, that's crazy. What's wrong with Sonic? Well, his legs have been replaced by cinder blocks, He has like a fluoride stare going on. The emerald that he's carrying is very large. Yeah, like Sonic has like a fluoride stare going on. This right here is what happens when you breathe in like too much like ammonia, right? Your legs turn to that. You get a fluoride stare and you start carrying around giant crystals. Chat, please. Asbestos eater. Yes. Fucking asbestos eater. Dude, you want to talk about a fucking asbestos eater? Look no further than this photo of goddamn Knuckles that I just found. Dude, what? Why? Dude, why is he such a goober here? Why is he such a goober? Literally everything about this is wrong. He has like tiny eyes. His 5 head is turned into a 7 head. At least he has his knuckles back, Why is dude, hold on. Why the fuck is Knuckles, hold on. Why is Knuckles the Pope? Why? Why is Knuckles the fucking Pope in this image? He's only 15 minutes old. Why is goddamn Knuckles about to play Undertale? That's his grandpa? No. Knuckles, also known as Elijah Burke, I guess. I want my close-up, baby. Okay. This fucking character has a wiki. Alright? This fucking character has a goddamn wiki. Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. This is none other than goddamn Athair. Or Athair is a character that appears in the Sonic Underground television series. He is the ancient sage of the Echidnas and the great-grandfather of Knuckles the Echidna. He lives as a hermit on the top of a large mountain. Athair is an anthropomorphic echidna with red fur that covers most of his body, peach skin on his muzzle, and black eyes. For attire, Athair wears sky blue robe. Oh, damn, sky blue? I like that wrestler. With blue thick lines on top and down. Green lens glasses with gray frame, red shoes with gray soles and yellow stripes, and 2 spiked knuckles on the. Dude, this is fucking Dude, this is Knuckles. This is Knuckles. Only Pender's echidna depicted in something other than the comics, by the way. Wait, no. That's not true. There's also, like, the Paramount movies and stuff. You know? Like, literally, we had, like, scenes with goddamn Chief Pack of Kamak in the Knuckles show. And we saw bits of, like, Knuckles' tribe before they went to go and die against the Owl people. Oh, only Pender's. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean like echidnas that were made by Ken Penders. Wait, this guy was voiced by goddamn the Brain? Dude, this rabbit hole is deep as fuck. I'm sorry? He has only done voice work in the Sonic series for Sonic Underground. Wow. This guy was also he was also like the Chancellor Pony from fucking Friendship is Magic. This show had Gary Chalk as Robotnik, aka Optimus Primal/Prime. It's a weird cast. Meanwhile, you have fucking Jaleel White voicing like the other half of these guys. You know? Jaleel White voices half the cast, and meanwhile, like, the rest of it is like a hodgepodge of just the craziest people they could find. You know? Honestly, I would want it no other way. Anyways, we're like 2 hours into this. We should probably continue. Hey, what did Matt Sydal even say?
What's up, Ray? You've been a tough guy to get a hold of, but I want to talk to you. We should get together after the Royal Rumble. That is, if we don't meet in the match. See ya.
Okay.
30 men will enter, but only one can leave with a guaranteed world title opportunity at WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Royal Rumble, live from Washington, D.C.
This will be an action-packed night from top to bottom, including 3 title matches. And then, of course, there's the one-of-a-kind Royal Rumble.
The road to WrestleMania gains speed as we find out who's heading to the main event at the Showcase of the Immortals.
All right, so who's on this card? I gotta check this card, brother. Oh boy, R-Truth. Huh?
This is for all WWE superstars involved in the Royal Rumble match.
Ah!
Williams' office, where I will personally give you your entry numbers.
You know what? I don't think I will. Matt Hardy versus Dolph Ziggler. Sheamus versus MVP versus Miz. Orton versus DiBiase. Triple H versus Cena. Punk versus Dude, where's Kofi and Chris Jericho? Wow, Legacy implodes early. It was not a new day or a new generation, I'm sorry to say. Hello, Ron.
Yo, Ray. I'm gonna do you one better, dog. I remember you won the Rumble at number 2. I got number 1 this year. And I'm gonna go through all 29 others to win the whole thing. That's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Just you watch.
Alright, Ron, I'll throw you out, and then you can go back to CNA. I know they could use you right now.
Beat it.
Okay, fucking fine. Whatever. Dude, I don't know if I want to go and talk to Vince. You know? I feel like that's a bleak prospect. I mean, there's one guy who did win at number 1, but he did bad things. His name was Shawn Michaels. Ah, no.
Mysterio, how's that head of yours doing?
Ah!
Boss.
Well, I'm glad you didn't forget that. Now then, let me give you your entry number to the Royal Rumble. You've drawn number 16. Not bad, especially considering you won it back in 2006 after drawing number 2.
I did? I mean, yeah, that was something. Thank you, sir.
No! Okay, but can I get, like, a better number? Is there a way that I could sneak, like, a better number? Oh no, Tommy hurts.
Go away.
Thank you for the history lesson, Vince. And you can read all about it in the new WWE Compendium. 16 is fine for a game, honestly. Yeah, that's pretty okay. It'll be enough of a challenge for, like, you know, this level. Alright, let me see if there's, like, anything that we can... Wait, hold on. What is the exclamation mark right there? What is the exclamation mark right there? What the... Huh? Hey!
Jack, what happened?
Oh, man, Ray, I got jumped. Evan Bourne came in like a ninja and hit me from behind with something. He stole my entry number for the Rumble, too.
Yo, why'd he do that, man?
I don't know, man. He's probably jealous of us. Look, I can't compete tonight in the state I'm in, but I'm counting on you to get back at Bourne for me. Can I count on you, Hamigo?
You got it.
Hamigo? Hamigo. I did legit want one of those WWE encyclopedia books, I can't lie. I had one of them. I had one of them back when I was a kid. Alright, let's do this. If Swagger had his purple hat, he would have beaten Bourne for sure. It's very true.
And now, it is time.
It's like anti-kryptonite.
Rumble match. Now in this match, the two superstars that
I get it. Wait, finally! Yeah, you're right, it's Justin Roberts! Finally! Dude, hell yeah! Survive until Bourne enters the ring. Eliminate Bourne by throwing him over the top rope. So wait, hold on. DiBiase was like in the match with Randy Orton, right? And now Cody Rhodes is also in this match. But he didn't have like a singles match before this. Dude, really now? Okay, fine. All right, hold on. There you go. This one's for you, Zach. I don't even know if you're still in chat, but I hope you are.
Here he comes. Entrant number 16 is...
His name is Ted. Of course he survives long, LOL.
It's Ray.
Are you saying that you also last long, Teddy?
Ray's ability to compete, both mentally and physically. Tonight's his chance to prove his detractors wrong.
And that partnership got the job done.
You know what, Ron? I'm gonna send you back to CNA.
Ow! And that one hurt his hand. Oh!
Nice.
The energetic R-Truth is out.
All right, we're locking in. Ah! The roller coaster.
This might be big.
It's good to see you, Justin. I thought that you were trapped in AEW. Yeah, you're locked in for a clobbering.
Who's gonna enter next? Might be going.
Get out of here, Teddy. You already had a match. You don't need to be in here for that long.
Oh my gosh, another one? Is it time already?
Well, awesome, Big Show.
A counter by DiBiase.
It's the big show. Cody, why, man? You can't just set up a spot and then not fucking follow through on it.
A sharp kick. Halfway done.
I came to be sure.
That'll cause some damage.
Holy shit. And that cameraman was on it. Ah, man, Kofi, who lost the U.S. title to Jericho earlier tonight.
You hear how his leg connected? Cody from behind. And the boot connects with the abdomen. Uh-oh, he's in trouble.
Come on, we gotta get that Big Show out. Who can eliminate the Big Show?
Gotta get the elimination. For the moment, they're working together, but remember, this is...
Yeah, baby! Oh my god, dude! Dude! Dude, Big Show ate so much shit there, it's unreal.
Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power. He's putting those educated feet to good use. Wow, he was quick as a corpse on that one.
Nice. Jericho saved his career earlier, that's right.
He anticipated that move perfectly. Bam! And a jaw-jacking punch. Oh, no.
So, chat, how many of us are such fucking dorks over these games that, like, we could tell which of Michael Cole's lines are from a game that came out before this one? Because I am one of those dorks.
And that was a hard shot. Let me just escape that one. Here comes another competitor.
I can't LMFAO. Thank you very, very much, Teddy.
How much pain must that neck be in now?
Only with a few lines, I think. Because anytime that Michael Cole says something in this game, I can tell when it's from, like, SVR 2006 and not 2011. What a deadly submission hold this is! We might see a tap out right here! I never got to play enough of them. Well, I guess that kind of tells you the kind of, like, gamer I am.
WrestleMania. Oh, he's coming back in.
Well, everybody else is playing, like, fucking... the stuff you would actually want to play on Xbox 360. I was over here playing this.
Here I don't believe it. He's been eliminated. And he's tripled up. There goes Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, he's finally out of here. Go back to jail.
Maybe on the verge of an elimination. Watch it. That was like a freight train. Reversal by the Miz. And the knuckles connect.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Michael.
An aggressive shot to the mid.
Man still hopes Taz would respond to him instead of Lawler. He's like coping. Please call me Taz. I miss you, boo. I miss you so much. I miss you and your suit bones.
Hanging on again here.
I miss you and your suit bowls, brother.
There's so much at stake in this match. A WrestleMania.
Oh wait, wrong person.
That's what they're here for, King. To headline on the grandest stage of them all.
While you were playing COD Modern Warfare 2, I studied the commentary lines.
Who's next? Oh no!
And I still don't know how to pay my taxes, chat. But don't tell the IRS that.
Oh my gosh, another one? Is it time already?
Ah! Ritsu, it's your goat. There he is, right there. It's your fucking goat. I miss my Tasmanian devil, Vince. I miss him a lot. He's over there causing some Tasmania and goddamn motherfucking TNA at this point, I think. Yes, it's an elimination. I think he's through playing around.
Oh, it doesn't get more punishing than that. Here comes another one. How's this going to affect the match?
Look in my ass. What do you see?
It's almost time for the next one.
Gotta get me a colonoscopy. Oh! Oh, hey, he was on SmackDown recently, wasn't he?
Force, my God! Great reversal!
Great reversal! Taz non-stop. Tazzle non-stop action.
Oh, out of nowhere!
And by all accounts, it was a one-off cameo.
Hanging on again, on the rope.
So, like, here's the thing, right? I enjoy those returns to WWE on paper. Okay? I would enjoy them more if they allowed the guys to actually use their non-WWE names. You know?
He's really clean house now.
Because, like, having them use their WWE names all but ensures that, like,
Watch out here!
they're not going to carry that momentum over to, like, you know, somewhere else.
What are we going to see here?
Yeah, exactly. They use their TNA names in NXT. But how else are they going to make money off of them? Exactly. Like how can they do a one-off Zack Ryder merch line otherwise? Come on, dude. Think about the merch. They just did it as a nostalgia thing, which is fine, I guess. I mean, like, it isn't really that big of a deal, but I just kind of think it's a... I don't know, like, you see it, like, in any other promotion, right?
You can see their chest light up.
Especially these days, like... Unless you're Morrison, where you just have a habit of using a different name in every single promotion that you go to.
Hanging on for the
No!
time in this match.
They're like everyone that, or like anyone that goes to another promotion uses like the ring name that they use in their main promotion, for the most part.
It's close. He's coming back through the ropes.
I don't know, it just makes it feel a little more cynical to me.
Ow, hard kick to the rib. And maybe this will be it.
No!
That was an absolutely incredible move.
Dude! Okay, this one's actually hard. Wow. And hey, we got two guys that are recently back in WWE. I mean, it's WWE, it should be viewed cynically.
Ow, that was a serious shot.
Thank you very much for validating my cynicism. Like, I'm trying very hard not to bring up AEW, but it's hard not to when you look at how it and other promotions do, you know, these one-off appearances. It just feels much more cheap when they're not allowed to have their autonomy, you know?
He almost took his head off with that lariat.
No. No! Okay, good.
Right to the knee. Oh, there it is.
Man, this is actually kind of hard. Wow. No, I'm trying to get over there, dude. Okay, great.
He just eliminated him with authority.
Authority!
He's in big trouble.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Oh, yes, we can. Let's do it. Ah! Oh, they do the thing! They're doing the thing! Yeah, baby! Wait, do we not have anyone else?
And here comes some help. Get ready. Another superstar.
Okay, well, why did we do the thing if there's more people to come out?
Collaboration works. Here comes another one.
Wait, did fucking Matt Sydal get... I'm changing the finish. Shad wins. As he should.
Who's coming out next?
Shelton! Get over here, man. I hear that you hurt people.
Here comes another competitor.
Wait, goddamn Evan Bourne is the last one out? You can hear the fucking goddamn instrumentation over like this hard rock instrumental. It's crazy. Here he is. Yeah! Some of shit!
That one rocked him. He saw that one.
Ow! Evan, help me, man. Man, if only Sean O'Hare was in this game. Dude, Sean O'Hare should be in more things. Like, I know he's dead, but I really feel like that AEW Fight Forever would have been better received if you just added Sean O'Hare to the game. No. Dude, are we doing fucking like headlocks here in the Royal Rumble? That's base as hell. Stop stealing my fucking thunder. Ah! Wait. No way. No, that's fucking my Elim. But I'm not telling you what you already know. To be fair, that is integral if you're going to be Sean O'Hare.
A grazing shot there.
Just telling you shit that you already know is true. No. Okay, thank you, Matt Sydal. Wow, what a save. It was fuck you. No. We are fighting in the fucking trenches here, dude. We are in the goddamn trenches. Matt Sydal, do your finish on him! Quick! Okay, good. Ow!
And that one hit with the force of a big rig. Oh!
We're just gonna let them fight it out.
Finley's in trouble.
Oh no, Rey's knee! Hey, he did it!
Then there were two. Mysterio's won the Royal Rumble before. What a Cinderella story it would be if he could capture it one more time. Bourne's in trouble.
He's had 5 surgeries. He's had 5 3/4 surgeries! No! No! Dude, come on! No!
Is he out?
Holy shit! No! No! Ow! No.
Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power. Oh!
Dude.
It's almost time for a 2-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Are you kidding me? Dude, my palms are fucking sweaty. Fuck it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna fucking win this shit. I just need to reverse one move, man. A single move. Please. I'm getting my ass kicked by Evan Bourne. What the fuck? No!
That was like a freight train.
No! 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 Ah! He skinned the cat! He skinned the cat! Ah! No! Fucking limb work! No! 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 Ah! No! What the fuck? Wrestles in the Rumble Triple H style.
And that can crush your sternum, break all your ribs.
No. No! No. 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 No.
It's break time.
Oh.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Dude, what the fuck? Okay, I'm marking that. Chat, I have an incredible thing to come back to with.
Now, here's an infuriating game. Myst is a top-selling
Holy
PC
fucking
game,
shit, George Wood, you need to shut up, man.
On the Sony PlayStation.
I need you
no
to.
other game best represents the sluggishness of CDs. Even when you have the fast transition option selected from the menu screen, the game performs as well as a snail.
Raw rolls on
Myst is
after
definitely
this.
a classic, though, and we see why. As we show you around
Very
the arena,
modern
notice the
WWE to
quality
get
of
an
detail
ad
in
break during the
graphics
final
and
two of the Rumble.
non-uniformity of trees and whatnot. Myst combines a surreal what
You're
we
so
call
right,
Gaia
though.
theme and a scientific mysteriousness
This
that
is
both
very true to
intrigues
life.
and perplexes. Oh, let's get back to the infuriating qualities. I almost forgot. We tried. We really tried. But even with a hint book, the game is invincible. There's one key problem area very early in the game, and we never passed it. The problem is in the spaceship.
We come back
We
and
must
it's not
enter a
Rey
musical
Mysterio in the
sequence
ring,
to a
it's
tuner.
the fucking
The
Cinnamon
musical
Toast
sequence
Crunch
is
guy.
found in a book in the library, and there's even a harpsichord in the spaceship, so you can play the notes, hear them, remember them, and enter them correctly in the tuner. Well, good luck entering them. Even entering one note at a time won't work for us. We know other players who got stuck here too, but they only played the game briefly. This is absolutely
absolutely cursed what you
because
sent
even though
me.
you know the solution, you can't
Ritsu.
execute it. Another gripe, Myst has no password feature, so memory cards are a must. One thing that isn't a must, however, is Myst itself. Sorry guys, but I've had enough of being mystified, and if I have to put up with one more groaning noise from the PlayStation as it very slowly switches screens, I'll freak out.
That's me playing this shit right now, dude. I'll freak out.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw. Look at this shit that Ritsu sent me. Would you download this 3DS theme? I definitely would, to be perfectly honest with you. This is very much a homebrew right here. Yeah, like this is literally 3DS theme editor. This right here is what someone was like, I'm standing here, still standing here, don't question my heart. That shit, yes. I would absolutely download that shit. Okay, that song ruled though. It was definitely a song that you could listen to with your ears, I will say. Please. Yes! Woo! We did it!
Oh, wow. And there goes Rey wins. Rey Mysterio did it.
Wow. Holy shit, dude.
He did it. Rey Mysterio, using all of his heart, all of his courage, has outlasted 29 others to receive a chance at
I
immortality.
pulled off modding my 3DS, but I'm thinking about doing it just for that.
This is what the Royal Rumble is about. Strength,
So you can
perseverance,
start your 3DS And every time you do, it's like, I'm standing here, still standing here, don't quit in my heart. That shit. To be fair, I would do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing, but for like, if it was like 2006 SmackDown. You give me Drowning Pool in there and I will take that shit into the bank, brother. Wow. Oh my fucking god, dude. That was insanity. That was actually intense shit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Chat. I gotta like... Oh, you think there would be a cutscene at the Rumble, but there's not really. Chat. I need to like take a piss break. Is that okay? Ritsu lore. My legacy is both hating the Russian leg sweep and saying such wacky things like ECW 09 is just 90s All Japan Pro Wrestling. What the fuck do you even mean by that? You come up with your response while I play another... Wait, can I even play another ad right now? No? Fuck. Okay, fine. Next ad break, I'm taking piss break. Oos. Wow. That was a walloping, chat. That was a good challenge. Right there.
Hey, yo, partner, you need to step off, man. You need to go the other way.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
We are just 5 days removed from the Royal Rumble as SmackDown comes to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Last Sunday, Michael, we got a clear...
I guess it's a better legacy than mine, which is really just hating on Walmart sugar cookies.
Number one contender be at Elimination Chamber.
In our main event, it'll be Edge taking on Rey Mysterio with a World Heavyweight Championship match on the line.
Wait, what do you mean? Dude, I won the Royal Rumble. I don't need a freaking shot at a title. I already have a shot at the title. At goddamn WrestleMania? Okay, fine. Zack Ryder versus Yoshitatsu from September 15th was just Kobashi and Misawa. Which one was Kobashi and which one is Misawa? Change that phrase, Stev. It's being wrong about sugar cookies. I mean, you could just say it to being... Listen, you can take sugar cookies and about out there. Like, you can just take that phrase, remove about sugar cookies, and you will have my legacy right there. Yoshi is Misawa, Ryder is Kobashi. Yeah, but don't people, like, hate Yoshitatsu? Meanwhile, Misawa's, like, one of the most, like, well, regarded and respected wrestlers of all time. Not even just in, like, Japanese wrestling, but also just wrestling, period.
What was the deal at the Rumble? If I didn't know better, I think you were out to get me.
I think you're out to get me, dude.
Friend, Evan. I don't appreciate the way you beat him up and stole his entry number.
Whoa there. I have no idea what you're talking about. And besides, Jack has never been your friend. As a matter of fact, it was him.
Bourne, I have no reason to trust you. Jack's been good to me since the accident. Just stay out of our way.
If you want to believe his lies, that's your business, man. It's just a shame.
Maybe I should talk to Jack. He's probably in his locker room.
Man, dude, he just fucking big-time Rey Mysterio there pushing him out of the way. Tatsu's first basic was Misawa tribute gear that said R.I.P. Big G, Big Green, which was really sweet. We really gonna have a normal talk while there is a time machine in front of us? Listen, man. This thing has been here for, like, years now, okay? It was here when we finished it. As Christian, it was here during you know, Jericho's road to WrestleMania, and now that Jericho's on SmackDown, it's here in Rey's road to WrestleMania. This shit's been here for years. It's just part of the.
Hey, Jack.
It's just part of the goddamn program, you know.
Jack, what happened to Rey?
Something with his car. He'll be fine.
Fine? His car's on fire. Must have been a hit and run. He needs immediate medical attention.
I have it under control. Don't be a drama queen.
Oh, can I not go in there? I guess I can't go in there. Okay, fine. We gotta go and wrestle Edge now, then, I suppose. Oh boy, Punk promo time.
Punk, congratulations on defeating Batista at the Royal Rumble and retaining the World Heavyweight Championship.
Thank you, Todd. I'm pretty proud of what I accomplished, even though I had full confidence in myself. Nobody else in the WWE Universe gave me much chance of beating the Animal. But that's fine. They're not me. I'm the only straight-edge champion in WWE history. And nobody is going to stop my momentum. I don't care how big or strong they are. That goes for whoever Teddy Long makes me face at Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks.
Phil, what the... Dude, what the fuck did we talk about last time? You can't just be randomly pausing during your promos. We can't fucking edit around this, dude. What do you want us to do? Cut to Todd Grisham's scared face whenever you're pausing? No one wants to see Todd Grisham, dude. Are you kidding me? Dude, that was the semi-main segment? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, but we gotta go out there and send them home happy. Okay, let's fucking do it. Put more feeling in your lines. You make me feel nothing, Phil. Come on. Punk is not a video game actor, holy crap. And yet he's in Zootopia 2. Which is just fucking insane to me. On this day, I have a mom cut. I'm driving my son to soccer practice. Yeah, Punk is in Zootopia too. And Roman Reigns is there too.
Contest is scheduled for one fall.
And so is The Rock.
Introducing first, the rated R superstar, Edge.
Roman's not the worst actor. I think he could go places in Hollywood. I like these Edge tights. So do I. I don't like his mom cut that he's got going on in this game. I don't know why they did that to him. But the tights are good, yes.
And his opponent, from San Diego, California, weighing 175 pounds.
I like those tights / that look compared to his WWE 12 look. Well, a lot of guys just got massacred.
And with that,
a lot of guys just got like fucking massacred in WWE 12. They whitewashed Booker T basically. That man has never looked less like Booker T in his whole life. Edge models have been notoriously bad most times. I thought that his model in 2K22 and 23 was pretty good. Although 23 helped because that was when he shaved his hair down. So, Drew McIntyre's WWE 12 gear is fucking insane. I would need to look at it again because I don't quite remember it. Anyways, hold on. We need Pokemon Stadium 2.
this match is underway. A chance to become the #1 contender hangs in the balance.
Mysterio won the Royal Rumble, so he's assured a title opportunity at WrestleMania. If he can win the championship before that, I'm sure he'll jump at the chance. Oh, it doesn't get more punishing than that.
Oh wait, wouldn't that like just nullify? Dude, why are these games so insistent on fucking burying the Rumble? Like in the original SmackDown vs. Raw, if you win the Royal Rumble in season mode, they're all like, oh, well, I have a great idea. We're gonna have the title match 1 month before Mania. I'm so mad I'm taking it out on the referee. Oh yeah, it looks like the Confederate gear, doesn't it?
Dangerous impact to the neck.
But yeah, like, in the original SVR, they were all like, ah yes, we're going to have you wrestle for the title 4 weeks before WrestleMania because that's awesome. When, like, the actual meaning of that varies depending on which show you're on. If you're on SmackDown, that means that your Royal Rumble win is cashed in at No Way Out. If you're on Raw, it's just cashed in on a fucking episode of Raw. It's so funny, dude. Like, how is this an upgrade, right? Like, shit. I'm throwing away my WrestleMania payday to fight on an episode of Raw? Get out of here, man.
Edge has held the world title on several occasions.
It looks like the Confederacy flag, even though it isn't. It does look like the Confederacy flag.
So does Mysterio. With both of these men less than a week removed from the grueling...
In the Rumble, you get some main event No Way Out or a random episode of Raw. LMFAO. Like, dude, what kind of upgrade is this?
And you can feel the emotion pouring out of Rey Mysterio. He put all his weight behind
like, shit, man. Like, what kind of upgrade is this? Congratulations to Jiri. You just won the chance to go to WrestleMania. No, I would rather be on fucking Raw, thank you very much. WrestleMania is a lot of pressure, you know.
into the headlock.
I hope to win the Rumble and main event Cat will punch me. Dude, no, I want a main event goddamn Breaking Point, okay? There's a lot of back and forth in this match, I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Here he comes. What the? What?
It's Jack Swagger!
And Mysterio digs down deep to roll the shoulder up.
Huh? What the fuck? Hey, you! What are you doing? I want to main event an episode of Superstars, brother. I hear they got really good shit going on over there.
It looks like Mysterio isn't too happy and Jack costing him the match.
Can you blame him? His friend just cost him the #1 contender spot.
God, wrench powerbomb. Man, dude, the person at mocap that broke their fucking knees.
What's Jack doing to Edge now?
Y'all don't know pay-per-view quality. I want a main event over the limit.
619 on a defenseless Edge. What is Rey doing?
Swagger is sure happy about all this.
Where does this leave the #1 contender spot? What does this mean for Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, I lost.
Hello, Mario.
Now, if I win the Royal Rumble, I want a main event a fucking episode of Superstars. Have you seen what they're putting on that show? You got, like, the WWE champion over there taking on goddamn Santino Marella.
Ray, I hope you know what you're doing, man. Or more importantly, what Swagger is doing to you. All of this stuff, it isn't you. You really haven't been yourself lately. Ever since you've had that idiot in your ear, you've been... Hey, what?
Alright, well, that was very much a Jack Swagger grunt. Guys, I think he finally found his purple hat. Also, hey, Devin, what's up? Welcome to tonight's Longboy Club meeting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmackDown Live from sold-out Cincinnati, Ohio. Michael Cole here with Jerry the King Lawler, and tonight is sure to be an eventful evening.
After what transpired last week, we'll be seeing Edge square off against Jack Swagger.
Not as weird as Bobby Lashley's voicemail in SVROA. Oh, what? Where he recorded himself friggin' climaxing and then he sent it to the player character. That was pretty weird too. Like, he recorded himself reaching his climax and then he sent it to you. You know, most people need to pay, like, someone at least, like, $30 to get that these days, and they were just doing that for free in 2008. That's crazy.
Ray, how's it going, man?
It'd be better if I was #1 contender right now.
Edge was playing dirty, amigo. I had to retaliate for your protection. Besides, you got that shot coming at WrestleMania, so don't get greedy. But hey, I got a match with the Rated R Superstar tonight. I was just thinking, it'd be nice if you could have my back in this one. You know, pay me back for last week.
Yeah, Jack. I'll be there for you.
That's my boy. Thanks. Gotta run.
Literally. Huh?
Ray,
I saw you there.
Jack attacked me when I called you. He's hiding something.
I'm kind of sick of your obsession with Swagger, Evan.
I'm not gonna let you keep tarnishing your reputation, Ray. If you want to go help Swagger against Edge tonight, you're gonna have to go through me.
Dude, really? Okay, fine. Within 2 minutes, reduce Bourne's life to 1/3. Reduce his life to 1/3? Dude, we gotta take off 2/3 of his lifespan here. I can't take his voice seriously. No, I can't. He's such a nerd, you know? Yeah, we gotta reduce Bourne's life to 1/3 of what it was before. I will make it so that you only have 15 minutes to live, brother. Alright, hold on. This right here is gonna be the shortening of Matt Seidel's existence. Dude, hard mode is actually pretty hard. Wow. Bourne sounds like he's chain-smoking cancer sticks. Aw. No, he doesn't. He absolutely does not. He just sounds like a dork. You know? Like, I cannot take this man seriously. If he is, he's only recently started chain smoking. Exactly. No, wait, that is John Laryngitis. Well, John Laurinaitis, I just wish very bad things for, frankly. Dude, why is this so hard? Yeah, taunt. Massage his pig laryngitis. You know what? I'm gonna sign him to TNA just to bury him, guys. In my TEW save, I think I'm just gonna sign him just to bury him. I think that would be a good use of Jesus Christ. I feel like that would be a good use of everybody's time. I'm surprised that Johnny Ace isn't in the big house. Well, you know, if the Vince stuff catches on, that'll change. Hopefully soon. I still remember when people booed him after he introduced Shane McMahon. years after his people power gimmick. I wonder if it's because... Like, I wonder if, like... Wait, hold on. Have I reduced his life to 1/3 yet? Okay, I reduced his life to 1/3. He now has 20 minutes to live. Good job, everybody. You know what? That's fine.
Looks like he's setting up for Mysterio. What's he doing here?
Oh, wait, okay, hold on. What, the spear? That's the worst goddamn spear of all time. Right there. My man, like, did a fucking Goldberg there.
With no small help from Rey Mysterio.
Ah! Check 1, 2! Oh, yeah! Oh, man. Okay, cool. Man. You know what, chat? I'm feeling like... I'm feeling, not great. I'm feeling not great. Oh, wow, I think a cutscene did get skipped or something. I was about to say, yeah. Like, I feel like that we're missing context or something. Alright, we're in Louisville, Kentucky here tonight. Alright, I'm gonna take a small break, guys. Tea break. What the? You got a text message from Long. That's me whenever I text anybody. Anyways, let's do 2-minute ad right here. I will be back in a couple minutes.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Wrestling fans rejoice. WCW NWO Revenge is here. With 50 real-life wrestlers, awesome animation, and tons of different moves, rolling around in virtual tights has never been so much fun. All this game needs is an option to play as Jesse the Body Ventura. Wouldn't that be cool? Or how about a wrestling game featuring Bill, Hillary, Monica Lewinsky, Ken Starr, Al D'Amato, and Henry Hyde? Now that would be the perfect wrestling game. Like Illusion of Gaia, Earthbound comes packed with a load of hints if you need them. Earthbound is an easy RPG, but Nintendo wanted the game to be easy so it provide constant, uninterrupted fun. Earthbound has so many comic elements to it that Nintendo doesn't want you to give up on the game and never see those funny scenes. Earthbound is the first RPG to be set in modern times. You save your progress by calling your dad over the telephone and refill your energy by eating pizza. Speaking of pizza, you can play the game with your left hand and eat pizza in the other, since the game can be controlled with the L button, which lets you talk and check, otherwise known as search, and the control pad to move. Prepare to visit several places: a clubhouse, arcade, burger shop, theater, Loch Ness Lake, dinosaur museum, hospital, drugstore, Stonehenge, a police station, library, a park, city hall, preschool, a bakery, laboratory, tents, caves, inns, a desert,
Nom nom.
a beach
Oh,
resort,
excuse me, we're
grocery
back,
store,
my
a
dudes.
snake shop, and Saturn Valley. Watch out for Master Belch. You may have smelled him before. Bottom line, the battles and the HP elements seem out of place, but the psychic experience points fit the Earthbound mold well. The game is easy, but you should consider buying it just because it's really innovative. Earthbound is the first RPG set in modern times. The graphics are impressive artistically, but not technically. The humor makes the game interesting.
My right ear loves Final Fantasy music, chat. Anyways, I'm back. Okay, so we are almost 3 hours into this. Typically, I wouldn't really be, trying to keep it going for this long, but I would at least like to get to the heel turn before we finish up here. Oh boy. I'm trying to keep you from competing for your own good, Rey, but it seems that you just can't avoid physical activity. Now, if you want to keep running with the big dogs, I guess I'll keep the leash off. You're sitting out tonight, but after this, I'll clear you to compete without restrictions. I hope you know what you're doing. Listen, Long. First off, that's my gimmick. Second of all, I'm fucking Rey Mysterio, dude. I know exactly what I'm doing. You're gonna find out all about it here in a couple weeks.
Elimination Chamber is just over a week away as we welcome you to SmackDown from Louisville, Kentucky. King, we are still without a #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Jack Swagger all have tried to stake their claim. But it's Teddy Long who'll pull the trigger on a decision.
And we are expecting our general manager to make the final verdict later tonight.
So wait, we don't have a match tonight, right? I had to play another one since the first one was short. No, I saw that, and it was, of course, the one, where your right ear falls in love with George Wood and your left ear loves, the dulcet tones of motherfucking, Earthbound. I had to think about it for a second. Well, you know what? Whoever wins, either whoever Teddy Long decides is the #1 contender, I just know that they're gonna cash in on superstars, right? We're gonna make that show matter.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Mysterio, the second best friend a guy could ask for. Behind me, of course.
Why does it have GTA San Andreas sounding footsteps?
Yeah, Jack. It's cool.
Hey, that's not the Rey Mysterio I know. What's up?
I just don't feel like me, man. I mean, I don't really remember what I was like before, but my gut and even some other superstars have been telling me I'm not being myself.
You can't trust them, Rey, but you can trust me. Look, I've been here for you the whole time. Everyone else is just jealous of you. People like that loser, Evan Bourne. Lucky for you, I've always been the brains of this outfit. So you don't have to worry about anything. Just follow my lead and things will go as smoothly as they always have been. Okay? Okay.
So, like, why don't we just, like, watch the tapes, right? What?
You two have both been scheming an awful lot lately, and I don't like it. Don't get any bright ideas in the ladder match next week. I'm the rightful #1 contender, and at Elimination Chamber, I'm taking back my World Heavyweight Championship.
You can't talk to the two of us like that, right, Rey?
Edge, it doesn't matter what you...
Let's teach this fool a lesson.
Well, okay, cool. Man, we cannot escape physical activity, huh? Okay, I guess fucking Pokemon music again. Once your opponent's health reaches 0, hit him with a finisher or strong strike to win.
You can't talk to us like that, Edge.
Logan, I think you need to restart the chat. There you go. I'm trying to, like, just get him over to a place where we can get to a little bit of damage somewhere. I think that Edge is, like, pretty good in this game, honestly. There are definitely worse VAs in this game. Like Jack Swagger and Rey Mysterio. And Punk. I mean, Punk is fine, he just sounds bored, you know? It's kind of a problem with a lot of these games. None of these guys use their promo voice, you know? Like, that's kind of something that I've noticed throughout, like, all of this. Throughout, like, playing all of these games back to back, right? Is that lots of wrestlers don't use their promo voice when they're, like, in the ring, for one thing, or when they're on the stick. They talk like they're in the booth. The only difference so far is probably Chris Jericho. Like Jericho, or like Jericho just seems to have a good sense of this, generally. No, you're right. Like, the footsteps are very, like, up in the mix. It's crazy. Alright, cool. Well.
You see what happens, Edge? I won't let you talk bad about me and my best friend. The nerve of that guy. He's just jealous of our success. Well, you better get used to it, and so should that pipsqueak Evan Bourne. We'll see you next week, Edge. Come on, Ray.
Alright, cool. Man. Listen, as long as... Listen, if Ray's just like, fuck everybody, including Jack Swagger, I'll be fine with that. Because I don't want heel goddamn Rey Mysterio to, like, be rubbing shoulders with Jack Swagger. That just doesn't sound very fun.
Smackdown comes to you live from Chicago, Illinois. Tonight, King, we determine the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship.
The competition's been heating up in recent weeks, but tonight, 3 superstars will be paired down to 1 in a ladder match.
Edge, Evan Bourne, or Jack Swagger. Who's going to take on CM Punk at Elimination Chamber?
Wait, are we not in the match? What? I thought that we were... Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger. Why are you doing this to me, man? You keep saying we're friends, and you keep costing me my fucking shit.
A triple threat for #1 contender, Teddy? Aren't you forgetting someone?
You'll get your shot at WrestleMania, player. That's what winning the Royal Rumble awarded you.
It awarded me a spot further back in line. Hey, I'm not down with that. I want in on tonight's match. I'm the one who deserves to take on Punk at Elimination Chamber.
I'll tell you what, Ray. I'll put you in this match. But if I do, you're going to forfeit the WrestleMania shot you earned at the Royal Rumble. Now think about this before you say anything.
Hey, I don't need to think about it. I'm ready now. I'm gonna win the ladder match tonight and become World Heavyweight Champion at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, Ray. I'll give you what you want. Tonight's main event is now a fatal 4-way ladder match.
No, that's fucking shit. Dude! Why do these games love nullifying the goddamn Royal Rumble? Ray, think about that Mania payday, brother. Think about the Mania goddamn payday. What are you doing, dude? Wait, can I talk to Evan? No, you can't. Wait, what about the security man? How about you? Can I do anything? No. Ray, please stand up for yourself once. Please, dude. Wait, what are we doing with this? What the?
I hear you're in tonight's #1 contender match, Ray.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's like running up.
But before this match, I have something you have to see.
Oh, what the?
Match is about to start, guys. Evan, you're up first.
But, Ray, you need to see this. Soon.
I don't know who that is, Devin. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. Alright, well, if Evan Bourne is up first, that means we're going to see his entrance first, right? Right? SmackDown versus Raw 2011. You're up first, Evan. Is he? Okay, there you go. There he is. Oh my god, the friggin' Titantron.
Introducing first, weighing in at 108.
Some are born to cry, some are born to shit. I love how all of the footage in his Titantron is shit from ECW. He played Tommy in GTA Vice City. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't know that. Check 1, 2. Oh yeah. Skip your entrance, you fucking chode.
You think you know?
So we got 2 heels and 2 baby faces? Question mark. ECW 08 through 09. Evan Bourne in the blue tights. Dude, he was going crazy. He was born to light the fire, brother. And you know what? I guess in your eyes he did.
Mysterio as a late addition by SmackDown's general manager.
Dude, we just fucking threw away our WrestleMania, our guaranteed WrestleMania title shot. What was the point of the Royal Rumble then? Ah! No! It's literally SVR 2004. It's already the original game all over again.
He's decided the time is right.
He's literally inches away from winning this one.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? No! Ow!
And there's the ladder.
I wouldn't say ripoff. I would call it friendly plagiarism.
Jack Swagger squeezing down on the head. From the ring to the floor.
It's very much Rage Against the Machine at home. But yeah.
Mysterio.
Oh no! Those steps have to weigh over 200 pounds.
Mysterio with the arm. He's got him.
It was done by a cover band, actually, or a tribute. Really?
Controlling the waist.
Dude, look at this! Look at Rey Mysterio there, flexing on this guy. I'm the king of the ladder match, Copeland. We got 3 fucking ladders in here now? No. Dude, this is gonna be a repeat of Christian's story.
Look at this. Good grief. Tremendous impact with that ladder. I wonder how Ray got himself included in this match, Michael.
I don't know, King, but I hope he doesn't end up regretting his decision. Ladder matches can be grueling.
Ah, yes. That's the reason why he shouldn't have accepted the match.
Jack Swagger going up the ladder again.
Whoa! This isn't Money in the Bank, you fucking chode! Ah! It's the Evil Empire anyway. I mean, that album's fucking stellar from start to finish. It is hard to beat goddamn Evil Empire, yes.
Mysterio controlling the head.
Ritsu, have you listened to, like, Tom's, like, solo stuff? He, like, does a lot of blending of genres when he's, like, doing solo work. It's kind of an interesting mix.
To the outside.
A tiny bit.
There goes Mysterio.
The Atlas, Underground. Like, all 3 of those records do a lot to, like, mix genres. And he also has, like, a lot of collaborators on those, too.
Mysterio goes behind.
Problem is, I don't think Connor Triss would want a wrestler entering the Cannibal Corpse. What are you talking about? Wrestlers come out to, like, you know, metal-inspired, like, entrance music all the time. I look at Malachi Black, look at, you know, Death Triangle, or rather, sorry, the Triangle of Madness, I mean. Sort of in the same vein, Darren from System of a Down has very good solo stuff with Scars on Broadway. I've heard of Scars on Broadway, but I've never listened to the album. Or rather, I've not, like, listened, you know, to his music all that much. I have listened to Tom's stuff, though. But he blends, you know, like, obviously a lot, like, of rock and metal stuff. But he also does, like, a lot of, like, dance-inspired stuff and folk. And more traditional hip-hop grooves as well. Like, I think he had a couple members of Public Enemy on a track at one point.
He's going back outside.
He's done stuff with guys like Chris Stapleton, Springsteen, Vedder. Let's see here. And a lot of other guys.
If he can grab that briefcase, he gets the contract.
It's not a fucking briefcase, Michael. He collabed with Baby Metal. That makes a lot of sense to me. Morello is, I don't know how Darren compares, but Morello's solo stuff is a lot more adventurous than what he did with Rage. But it's not to say that what, you know, Rage was doing wasn't, like, groundbreaking. It was for its time. But, like, Tom is kind of hard to pin down to one style on his own.
And now beginning the long climb up.
After all those shots to the head, I've got a feeling that Sue's going to be on his dial for the foreseeable future.
Swagger, you need to fucking do it. Okay, good.
Talk about throwing caution to the wind. That was insane.
But no, like,
The briefcase is only inches away.
I was gonna go and see Rage, you know, before Zach fucking broke his leg, but, you know, after that happened, there's basically no chance of that, you know, going forward at this point.
Swagger. And into the back. Game plan now, clear as day. Target.
It's honestly kind of insane that more people don't try to, like, mimic Tom's musical stylings. Because, like, aside from, like, you know, guys that are just, like, you know, directly ripping off Rage's whole style, I don't see a lot of people mimicking the kind of, like, tone that he got out of the guitar.
Heading back to the top.
No. Jack, prioritize! Prioritize! Okay, good. I was about to say, like, no, I'm not saying you broke your leg, Zach. I'm talking about, like, the lead vocalist of Rage Against the Machine.
God, here he goes. A thunderous fall from the top of the ladder. And he's out of the ring again.
I actually agree entirely. What? The point that you're surprised that more people don't try to mimic Tom's style? I mean, yeah, because, like, unless... unless, like, they're just, you know, directly ripping off Rage Against the Machine's entire vibe. You don't really see a lot of people, you know, just, like, taking, like, Tom's work and putting it, like, into their own shit. Unless they're just ripping off Rage wholesale, you know? Alright, cool. We got the contract and we threw away our goddamn WrestleMania title shot that we entered 16 in the Rumble match for. Ah!
Unbelievable, Michael.
Alright, we gotta get CM Cuck now, dude.
#1 contender.
Rey, my man, way to go. You grabbed the contract.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I saved your life. You wouldn't even be here if I didn't pull you out of that flaming wreckage. Now all I asked for is that contract. I told you before, you'll get a shot at my title at WrestleMania. Probably. Now give it to me.
Drop it, Swagger.
Man, I want to kick this guy's ass. Not Evan, but...
His life, Jack? Saved it? I want to hear what Evan has to say.
I don't have to say anything, Ray. Just watch this.
Oh, brother, dude. Brother, dude, Jack. Michael Cole apparently can't tell a clipboard from a briefcase. Man, Jack, you fucking piece of shit. I'm still, you know what? I'm just gonna beat up everybody in this goddamn ring right now. Oh wow, wait, that fire was in the PS2 version. I remember that.
Ray, I know what it looks like, but seriously, I was helping you.
Helping me what? Retire?
No. I was helping you escape the old you. The one that did what everyone else wanted him to do, instead of doing what you wanted to do. Admit it, Ray.
Great.
Being your own guy has been great, hasn't it? Teaming with me, being the big man on campus, you loved it, right? I know I do. In fact, take the contract. You deserve it. Our friendship means way more to me than that. Friends.
Chat. I gotta do it, don't I? I gotta fucking do it. Rip the Band-Aid off, brother. Wow.
I kind of figured Swagger caused the accident. But it was just that. An accident. And he not only helped me out of the burning car, but he helped me see the light. Hey, I don't have to please these people. I don't have to be a nice guy. I've had more fun in the past 2 months than I can remember. Get it? More fun than I can remember?
Oh my gosh.
There's just one more thing I want to do before I beat CM Punk to become World Heavyweight Champion.
Wow. Dude, they fucking killed him. He's in the fucking Family Guy death pose. Wow.
What's more shocking, that Swagger is the one who...
Wow. On your knees. Oh, yeah.
Mysterio would be so despicable.
Wow.
Nasty streak, earning the World Heavyweight Championship at a
Crazy total elimination. Yeah, that was insane, dude. They fucking laid him out. Dude, Evan Bourne just fucking died right there. Wow. Dealerships often panic when AEW or WWE rent a car from them because I doubt Enterprise would get them a car. Wait, hold on. I've seen something else from this playthrough, and I would like to get to that.
We are live.
Next week is an Evan Bourne memorial show. Dude, he literally hit the Family Guy death pose and everything. That shit was like absolute, just like right on his epitaph. He fucking died from ligma.
Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. And as we discovered Friday on SmackDown, it'll be Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Rey gave up the WrestleMania title chance he won at Royal Rumble for this, Michael. What a gamble he's making.
Yeah, fucking stupid gamble, dude. Elimination Chamber's a B show. You can't do this, man. Hi.
Hypocrite.
Wait, hold on. What? Why am I a hypocrite, brother?
Turn around and walk away while you still can.
Man, like, Jericho is just, like, biting, dude. Let me see if, like, anyone else is just gonna be like, you know what, Rey? Fuck you. Oscar versus Phil. Let's fucking go. Reminds me when Cena did that in 2008 winning the Royal Rumble, then going for the title at No Way Out. Dude, it just, like, nullifies the concept, right? The whole point of the Royal Rumble is to guarantee you a shot at the biggest stage in wrestling, right? Also, chat, I don't know if you can see this, too, but I found this very satisfying when I was a kid. Looking at the back of Rey's head while he was running and, like, watching the, you know, bottom strap of his mask wave to and fro. I don't know, something about that was satisfying to me. Watching, like, the bottom strap wave, like, to and fro. Do you see that? That should have been, like, my first sign that I had some form of autism. But, like, listen. 15 years later, I rediscover it. You know, better late than never. It's just so... It's so... mesmerizing. Look at it go. Look at it go to and fro, chat. Absolutely magical. Hey, Finlay.
You know what? You need to take a hike, pal.
Wow. What? What do you mean, what? Zach? Oh, boy.
Rey, WWE Elimination Chamber is all about you, my man. You deserve this title shot. And you're going to bend the straight-edge superstar like a twisty straw.
Oh my god, he's the king of bad promos still. Even in this game, he's the king of bad promos.
Right, girls?
Go get him, Rey. Punk's just junk.
You made the right
Punk's
call
just
Friday
junk.
night, hermano. We will be the greatest team known to man or beast.
Man. Why does Swagger sound wasted? That's just him gearing up for his, you know, goddamn role of a lifetime as himself.
I hope you enjoyed your shot while it lasted, Mickey. As if there was ever any doubt. I proved once again why I am the most dominant diva in WWE.
You may have beaten me tonight, Beth. But on
Mickey
another
looks
night, on another show, you might not have
unfinished.
been so lucky. You're not unstoppable, Beth. I took you to the limit out there. So next
She also
time,
has
the
big...
Divas Championship is coming home with me.
She also has, like, jiggle. That's crazy. Is this the only wrestling game that'll get me demonetized, chat?
Get lost, dillweed.
Man! And what did I ever do to you specifically, Jomo? I just want to say those Punk Mysterio matches from May 26, Extreme Rules 2010, and Over the Limit 2010 are really fun matches. They are fun matches. They have really good chemistry. But in this one, but in this continuity, we get it a little bit earlier. Wait, what if I go into the GM office? Will fucking Teddy Long be there to tell me how...
It's
tell me how
almost
much of
time
a
for the
shithead
2-minute
I am?
Cheetos break, my dudes.
Hey, Truth. What? Okay, fine. You know what? I didn't want to talk to you that much anyways. Teddy Long. What's up, dude?
Are you sure you want to go this route, player? Maybe it's fun hanging with Swagger, but a lot of people look up to you. You're letting them all down.
Teddy, you don't know what it's like to have all the pressure of being a role model. This is about making me happy for once.
All right, Rey. You know what's best for you.
Well, hey, there you go. Ritsu, you were just like, Rey, stand up for yourself. Well, here he is. He's standing up for his goddamn self. You know? He's said to have gotten his ring name because he looks like Sissy's rocker Jim Morrison.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
You don't say. Also because
Bubsy
his...
the Bobcat.
God damn it.
Bubsy's nap is interrupted one day when he
back in a
discovers that
second.
strange
Jesus.
aliens called the Woolies are stealing the Earth's yarn balls. Bubsy doesn't want to see his favorite play toy become extinct, so he embarks on a mission to collect as many yarn balls as possible and to stop the two Queen Woolies.
Yeah, I didn't like this stuff.
The graphics are great, as you can see here, making the journey to Stage 16 a sublime and enjoyable play experience.
Well, are you still playing this thing?
With the code STCJDH, Bubsy can skip into Stage 16 and encounter the Queen Woolies, Polly and Esther. Simply bop their heads while taking care not to be hit by their energy shield. Remember, the code is STCJDH. Good players will not even need this code, but this way you can see the ending of the game quickly. Bubsy will return for more hair and fur-raising adventure in a second game, Bubsy 2. So there you have it. Bubsy has won, and he's thrilled with his success. We at Flights of Fantasy are thrilled with him too. Even though Bubsy is easy, the game is still excellent.
Guys, if Bubsy 4D is any good, we need to recreate that Gitsy specifically. I feel like we need to recreate that one specifically. So, once we come back from the ads, I have a little something that I need to ask the people. Because it is getting late and I would like to finish this with some energy left and with some of us here.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. So, chat, I want to get a temp check for all of you. Because I would like to finish this, but, you know, I want to do it with at least some of us here, right? I don't want to get to WrestleMania and then we're all fucking just exhausted. So, I'm thinking that tonight, or rather this match here, the Elimination Chamber match, will be our last match of the evening, and then we'll finish this up next time we stream it. And then we'll kick off and then we will conclude the Road to WrestleMania storylines with John Cena. I will get my friend Posty over here, and we'll cap off this whole experience together. How's that sound? Yeah. Elimination Chamber is going to be our last match. I want to get to, the point where Rey's mask switches up. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not up anymore. There we are. I want to get to the point where, Rey's... I don't see the long boy. Well, now you do. Sorry about that. I was locked in. Super sad I missed Christian's Road to WrestleMania. Well, you can watch it on the VOD channel. By the way, I have a VOD channel and all these other platforms on my socials. I'm on everything. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube on 2 different channels. I'm not on X/Twitter because that place is a shithole. Come and follow me on all those places. I post all of my Twitch, I'm going live notifications on my Blue Sky. Are you on Tout? Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. I'm one of the last remnants of that shit.
You saw the light on SmackDown, huh, Rey? I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. Tonight, I'm gonna put your lights out.
He could have said, I'm gonna make you go to sleep. Wait, this is the main event here? I mean, it's a pay-per-view main event, brother. We big towners, rah! Dude, I'm gonna tout that shit, okay? I'm touting that shit right the fuck now. You and I need to have, like, a meetup, and we need to tout that, okay? Just you and me. We are soldiers, okay? Ow! Itsune! Hi.
The following contest is for the World Heavyweight Championship.
You and I could be trailblazers, Ritsu.
From Chicago,
Or trail reblazers, because really, the trail was already blazed, it's just kind of gone out, you know?
World Heavyweight Champion.
What did I even throw? Something. I honestly don't even know. Now, I know that Rey gets a new mask in this.
Hello, Mario.
Shit. Fizz, what's up? I was about to say, what did you even post? It didn't show up. There you are. Oh, he's doing his little skips.
Step on up and see if you can.
Oh, hey, we haven't had one of these in a while.
Ring around a long boy's neck, ladies and gentlemen. Step on up. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hurry.
Ah, you suck,
Oh, you
Fizz.
missed.
I'm
Or
sorry.
maybe you didn't. You owe me $10 either way.
So wait, we're still getting cheered out the building, even though that we turned heel on SmackDown.
From San Diego,
I was about to say, this, chat,
weighing 175.
this right here is a heel versus heel match, right? Let's see what we want to fucking do for this match.
And that's what it's all about. That's the prize they're going after right there.
You know what? We're gonna fucking do this, okay?
And with that bell.
Throw away your mask.
This match is underway. Rey Mysterio versus the straight edge champion, CM Punk. Punk's held the world heavyweight.
Actually, you know what? No, hold on. We're gonna save that for Mania. I think that the best thing to do for this is...
Several months now. Does Mysterio have what it takes to beat the champ?
And he does it one more time.
Alright, we're gonna have another classic here, Phil. Let's do it.
Blasted. CM Punk got absolutely blasted there.
Oh, he got fucking blasted, brother.
Rey Mysterio.
He's on spaghetti legs now. Punk reversed it.
What did I even throw? You know what? I don't even know what you threw. I wasn't quite looking. Sorry.
That'll do some damage. Mysterio squeezing down on the head.
It didn't land flush, but it did connect.
Oh my, just
Dude, we're just trading kicks here.
CM Punk.
You know what? No. Okay, we are heel Mysterio now. That means we need to, like, do rest holds, right? So here's a fucking wrestle for you, kid.
And he powers out.
That was a quality rest hold, chat.
CM Punk has been on fire, but his recent non-title loss to Evan Bourne may have stalled his momentum.
Momentum is in
Wait, what?
right now.
Wait, he lost to Evan Bourne? Wait, when the fuck did this happen?
A stiff shot with the elbow.
Oh no!
Chad, did we, like, find out when this happened and I just wasn't paying attention?
Just 2 days after that grueling #1 contender ladder match, the opportunistic Punk knows that Rey can't be at 100%.
Heck, we can't be sure Rey is fully recovered from his accident. It was less than 2 months ago. Oh, wow.
Well, you know what? Apparently we knew what we were doing the whole time. We were just playing dumb.
And Mysterio gets laid out.
Honestly, I kind of like that. I like how it's not just like, oh, well, we trust Swagger.
Carry down the challenger.
Can't afford to get cocky here.
But we also are just like, fuck it. We're in this for ourselves now. We're not in it for anybody else.
Problem is, the book's working here. So he needs to come up with something unexpected.
Holy shit. Punk is just flying all over the ring right here. This is not good.
And again, Punk going to the top rope.
Countered by Mysterio.
I'll show you how to fucking do it, kid. Cross bodies for fucking days.
Mysterio to the top rope, doing what he does.
I guess what we saw on SmackDown.
Inverted shooting star press.
Vicious Rey Mysterio we're seeing here tonight.
Rey Mysterio is extremely motivated here. And again, Mysterio leaping to the top.
No. Let's say, Punk, come on. Woo! Nice. No, I want to pin him off that shit, dude. That was fucking picture perfect.
Whoa, look at this. DDT.
Tout for life. You fucking know it, brother. We're just trading fucking shit here, dude. Trading momentum. Ah! No way! He won it on a goddamn roll-up? Wow!
We have a new World Heavyweight Champion.
Why is he right in my ear?
Don't call it a comeback, Michael.
Also really love this Punk gear, too. Yeah, the yellow and black is good.
Of Rey Mysterio, but you can't deny
He also like has the Charles Manson look at this point, and that's pretty good too.
what will be the fallout.
Well, we got the title. Are we actually gonna go full heel now, or what? And remember, chat, if we are the world champion at the end of WrestleMania, then we need to have a unification match in exhibition between Rey Mysterio and Christian Cage. Because Christian won the World Championship off of Edge at WrestleMania in his storyline. And it looks like that at this point Rey is already the World Champion. So, there's deadass a sign in this game where someone drew Punk as a real, actual Japanese cult leader, LMFAO. I've seen that sign, and I know exactly the fucking cult leader in question. It's crazy. We in the swaggy Mysterio era.
Welcome to Friday Night Smackdown from sunny Tampa, Florida. Coming off the heels of an historic Elimination Chamber, we have two new champions.
It was a big night for the High Flyers. Evan Bourne won the United States Championship, and Rey
What, he won the U.S. title?
for the World Heavyweight Championship.
He was like, fuck this, I'll go to Raw.
I don't think he'll be at all impressed with his former friend's accomplishment.
He's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go to Raw. See ya. Oos. So wait.
Get out of my face.
You know what? I'd be pretty upset with Rey Mysterio as well, honestly. TBA? We don't know the main event segment? Oh, wait, we have a promo? Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Not your phone, Copeland. Actually, no. You can keep holding your phone. I need to go and talk to Jack Swagger for a second. Jack Swagger! Hey man, did you find your purple hat yet?
Well, if it isn't World Heavyweight Champion Rey Mysterio. Que paso, hermano?
That's me, homie. I'm on top of the world right now.
And to celebrate, my friend, I got you a little something. It's in your locker. Go have a look.
Okay, hold on. Wait, is this it? The fucking purple dot.
It looks great on you, Ray. It says, "Don't mess with me or I'll hurt you."
Thanks, Jack. You're a nice guy.
Yeah, don't tell anybody or I'll crack your jaw. Now, don't you have something to say in the ring right now?
Oh, we gotta go and cut that promo, huh? Man. Yeah, this right here. This is the new gear. Honestly, it's kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. But we miss, like, the fun little... Wait, no. We still have, like, you know, the little, like, loose strap there. And he's got red contacts. Wow.
Beat it.
Man, is that how you're gonna talk to the World Heavyweight Champion? Fine. I do enjoy how there are, like, two different storylines and where you can ultimately just become the heel. Like, heel Rey Mysterio is definitely kind of a bold choice, I feel like. Especially in this era. Alright.
Show some respect.
No, we gotta hear a Swagger promo along with this? No way, dude. No shot.
In the last week, a lot of people have come up to me. They said, "Rey Mysterio, you're no longer my hero." They say, "Why do you turn your back on the people who have supported you?" But the way I see it, I'm a hero now more than ever. I am once again World Heavyweight Champion, and I won it on my own, after a career-threatening accident.
That's a true hero, people.
If the WWE
Shut up,
Universe can't see that, then the WWE Universe is blind.
You're the one who's been blinded, Ray. I see what you did, and so did everyone else. But if you're happy the way you are...
Oh, he's really happy.
Then you two face me in a tag match tonight. As for my partner, you'll just have to wait and see.
You're on, Bourne. We don't care who you bribe to be your partner. Because we're unbeatable. Wait and see.
What? Dude, what was that? What was that? What was that for Swagger? Wait and see. Man, dude, he put a lot of, like... He put a lot of sass into that shit, huh? Alright, well, I guess next time we have a tag match that we gotta do. Oh, goody. We gotta come back to a motherfucking tag team match. What was that delivery? LMAO. That was... Dude, that was the greatest. Some might say an all-American hero, Rey Mysterio. Wow. All right. You know what, chat? I still can't believe that we're doing this. I still cannot believe that we're going down this road. Jeff Keighley is calling up Swagger as we speak for best performance. What, in 2010? Listen. I mean, listen. We got the fucking time machine back there, dude. We can go back in time and get him nominated, you know? It's way more possible than one might think for him to retroactively win that fucking nomination.
Look, whoever Bourne's got, it'll never be a talent of our level. He'll probably just find some local kid who hasn't even broken in his boots yet. Don't sweat it. I'm not.
Who's this Kenny Omega kid anyways? Alright. I'm gonna save one more time. And then we're gonna go ahead and raid out to somebody. This was fun, everyone. A lot of you guys were here from, like, moment one, and it has been almost 4 hours. You guys are crazy, for one thing. Well, crazy in the best way possible. Crazy in the best way possible, because I truly do appreciate you guys. This was very fun. And I can't wait to finish it up next time, because we will be finishing this one up next time. And if Rey Mysterio, Ariona Rep is alive tonight, brother. Listen, the Well and the Long Boy Club, we are the Titans, you know? We are the fucking Titans of this sport. And we will be for as long as we want to be. And we have you to thank for that. Thank you all very much. We're gonna raid out to someone here. Let's see. For over 50 years, we will reign supreme. Much like Rey Mysterio. You know, I want to throw a curveball, right? I want to throw a bit of a curveball, and I want to raid into someone that we've not raided into yet, like ever. We are going to raid into the person that made my goddamn PNG tuber model right here. We're gonna raid into Pixel.Gamer right here. They're playing BioShock Infinite at the moment. Very, very cool game. They're going on 8 hours at this point. Holy fucking shit. Let's go ahead and give them a late stream surprise, chat. I think that'd be fun. Hold on. Long Boy Club Love. There it is right there. Copy it in there with me. And we will show it off. We'll show them the true meaning of Long Boy Club Love. But, yeah. Thank you all once again. This has been very, very fun. And we'll finish it up next time. But, join us back here on Saturday for Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because me and Nelson will be getting back to that on Saturday. I don't know if it's going to become like, a weekly Saturday thing. Because, well, my work makes it very hard to schedule stuff. But we're going to try to make it a weekly thing for the foreseeable future until we beat the game. Which we are still quite a ways away from. I don't even think we're halfway through. So, yeah. Join us for the long ride of that. And join us next week. Probably on Wednesday night. Depending on how much work runs me ragged. Or Thursday. For the final bits of Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania. Of heel Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania. I'll see y'all next time. My childhood hero's dead. No. I hate it. Chat, why did I do this?